die. Hey, swing those hips around, can't stop.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. It's compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
Welcome in, everybody, to the season finale of the Ignition Zone pre-race show presented by the Collegiate iRacing League. Excited to have you along tonight for what should be a thrilling night of championship action here in the Garage Shop College Cup Series. Alongside with tonight is everyone's favorite CIL analyst, Brad Daniels. I'm Alex Gagnon, and we are all getting ready for the final race of the season here in Sin City. Brad, I tell you what, it is going to be a fun one tonight. Can you believe it? The season's already coming to a close, and tonight we crown a new champion.
Yeah, it's gone by like a blur. I mean, we've seen so much great action this season, and a lot more to come tonight here at Vegas. And I mean, everyone's going to be putting on the line in this championship 4, and I mean, everyone else on the field is going to try and make their way up and try to win this one. But really, we're going to be watching the championship 4 tonight here, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the focus is going to be tonight. There's going to be great action throughout the field, but obviously we are all going to be keenly keeping an eye on those 4 drivers who we'll get to in just a moment to see who will be the Season 11 champion. This is the 13th and final points-paying race of the year. We've also had the Clash. We've had the All-Star race. It's been a fun time, and we'll throw that schedule up on the screen here one last time for everyone to show just kind of how we got here. And this was the schedule, folks. This is how we got to this point. 8 regular season races. Got 4 races in the playoffs, 2 rounds of 2. The schedule doesn't even show the All-Star race from last week, but that was an absolute hit. Truly some of the best racing that we've seen here in the CIL. That was a fun one. And then tonight, back at Las Vegas. First time Vegas is playing host to a championship race here in the CIL. And, from what we've seen from Vegas historically, Brad, I think we're going to be in for a show tonight. This track lends itself to the strengths of the car very well and to the strength of our drivers.
Yeah, and especially our championship 4. I mean, this track has been so, I mean, personally, when I drive it, it's one of my favorite tracks. It's a multi-groove track. You have a lot of action on the inside and outside. There's, there's even some tire strategy along with it, running those lines. So, I mean, this track holds so much potential for such great racing, and I think we've seen it in the past all the way back to Season 4. And, it's really going to show yet again why it is stuck on the CIL schedule.
Absolutely, and it really is going to be a good one. I was about to call it the action track. I know that's the moniker of a different track, but every time that we've come here, it's been nothing short of spectacular. But speaking of spectacular, I mean, we think back 2 weeks ago to the Bristol race that set this playoff grid. That battle between Daniel Nanny and Mario Miranda at the end of the race, unbelievable stuff. Some of the most competitive yet cleanest racing you will ever see in a race at Bristol. Truly was a battle between those two. Ultimately, Daniel Nanny got it done for Ball State, who have been on a heater as of late. It's a bummer for them that Nanny was not in the playoffs this year because he has really turned it up the past back half of the season. But with that, it set our championship 4, and we'll throw those guys on the screen here. Our 4 drivers battling for a championship tonight, representing 3 different schools. That is Jared Kaler and Clint Halterman of UNC Charlotte, Jake Cummings of Converse University, and Mario Miranda of the University of Oklahoma. And Brad, when we start looking at how they stacked up, some of these drivers got here through consistency. Some of them got here through being able to turn it on when it mattered most, and some of them have just been able to kind of sneak under the radar a little bit and found themselves in perfect position when it matters most. Yeah,
I think, UNC Charlotte, you could see a tale of 2 seasons. You see Jared Kaler, he's, averaging start position of almost 10 and making his way up to around 6th position. We call him Mr. Consistency for a reason. He is always up in 4th, 5th, on the podium, winning a race this season back in Atlanta. And then you have Clint Halterman, who's been there at the right times. He's made his season worth it. And we saw it back at Bristol. He barely made it, but he made his moves in the right times. And really, actually, I think the 2 in the middle here, Jake Cummings and Mario Miranda, have been just consistently the fastest drivers in the season. I mean, from start to finish, especially Mario Miranda with that hot start for Oklahoma, he really has been, tearing it up. And you can see he's run less laps than all these other guys, but also led more laps.
Yeah, and a lot of it is part of the reason he's run so much fewer laps than some of these other drivers is you can take an eye at that average finish. It has been very boom or bust so far this year for the driver of the 89. 2 wins, 4 podiums, the most of any Championship 4 driver, but also the most DNFs of any of the 4 as well. And that is part of the reason why he has that average finish of 13.8, despite having the most podium finishes of any driver in this Championship 4. And it really comes down to, some of these guys have turned up the wick as of late. And then some of them just got off to a hot start and have been able to maintain that momentum through the year, very much to the case of Mario Miranda. Meanwhile, a driver like Jake Cummings was fast early in the year, but then didn't really have the steam through the middle part of the year, but it started to really get it going again here over the past couple weeks. And really, I look at any of these resumes, and I would not be shocked if any of these 4 drivers took home the championship tonight. I would be a little surprised if Clint Halterman finds that extra bit of speed against these 3 tonight. But it's not that he has not been fast. He is running inside the top 10 just as much as Jake Cummings or Mario Miranda. It's just a matter of when these finishes have come throughout the schedule. So it'll be really interesting to see how this dynamic unfolds, especially with Kaler being the only one who's won a championship before, Brad. Do you think he's going to be more comfortable than the other 3, knowing that he already has proven to himself and to the rest of the league that he has what it takes in these kind of scenarios?
Yeah, I think, of course, that's going to feed into, his side tonight, where Jared has been in this situation before, but you can also see throughout this whole season, he's only been outside the top 10 in 1 race that he's ran. So, I mean, he is, keeping it consistent throughout the season, keeping his momentum up. And I think, if anything, he's kind of snowballing it to this point where, the biggest set stage, the biggest scenario where he's won it multiple times. I think he's going to be the most, under pressure dude on the track tonight. Well, I guess out of these 4. And then, I mean, really, he's the most expert, what's the right word? He has the most expertise here in the CIL. He won in season 4 here at Las Vegas. And, Mario Miranda just, coming in these last couple of seasons. And really, these other 3 guys, their best finish at Vegas was season 9. So, as of recently, they got it together for Vegas. But Jared has been here from the start and is ready to, take on these other 3.
Yeah, I think that experience will play into his hands pretty well. And I think he's going to have to lean on that and the fact that he has consistently had speed at no matter what track we go to. That being said, it's been very rare for him to have the race winning pace. His only win of the season came at Atlanta, one of those drafting tracks where he just barely edged out Edward Sanchez at the line to pick up that one and only win of the season. So he's had speed to run in the top 5 basically every race, but it kind of dies off around that 5th, 4th position. So it'll be interesting to see how this is going to work out for the driver of the 58, the only reigning champion in the field. But we'll keep going down the list here, Brad, and kind of make a case for why we think each of these guys can make it happen. So we'll look here at Jake Cummings, driver of the 95 for Converse. And, there have been races this year where he has kind of been stuck inside that 6 to 10 range. But, once every other race, every 3 races or so, he just hits another gear and is probably the fastest car on the racetrack.
Absolutely, yeah, I totally agree with that, Alex. I mean, everyone can see on some of the tracks like, back at Watkins or some of the other tracks where he's just been, the fastest car on track, or at least in the top 3 of the fastest cars on track. And then there's other times, like you said, where he's still fast, still consistent, but also kind of lingering in the back half of the top 10. So I think Jake will have to really prove a point tonight that he is going to, show up when it counts and make sure he can clinch that championship. As you can see, I mean, he's very consistently qualifying and finishing within the top 10. But, right now, I mean, compared to Jared Kaler, it's pretty hard to, compare to Kaler's stats here on paper. But he has been very, very quick this season.
It's also worth noting that win total could have been 3. You think back to that race at Kansas, which ultimately fell Mario Miranda's way, but it was John Hagan and Cummings side by side for first at the line. They wrecked each other out and Miranda stole it. So that total could easily be another one up if the track at Kansas was about 200 feet shorter. We'll jump on the line here to Mario Miranda. No one started the season, or really any season, as hot as Mario Miranda did. 2 wins, 3 podiums in the opening 3 races of the year. Kind of got caught back in traffic a little bit, but then had a really good run at Phoenix and almost won last week at Bristol, the runner-up. The past couple races here, I think, has been a really encouraging sign for the Oklahoma driver that he's got some of that pace he had at the start of the season. And if that's the case, that should be a big warning sign, I think, for the rest of the championship for Brad.
Yeah, and I also think he's going to have, I mean, looking at the stats here, I mean, he's been qualifying really well this season. We've seen him on the front row multiple times. And like you said, I mean, at Kansas, Daytona, start the season off with a win and then another win and a podium. It's pretty hard to say you're not one of the fastest cars in the field. But, he's been pretty consistently fast, and then when something happens to him that's very unfortunate, and you can see that average finish takes a hit from it as well. So even though he has the worst average finish from all of these 4 drivers, he is definitely someone you shouldn't count out at the end. Even though he might drop, according to the stats, 6 positions, he definitely, I think, will be in the top 5 a majority of tonight.
Yeah, I think that average finish is really deceptive for Miranda, because sure, it's averaging out the total of 11 starts, but it's either been a top 5 run or something sub 25th. There's not really been a 13th place finish per se. And then finally we get down to Clint Halterman, the only alumni of the 4, the second driver here for UNC Charlotte to make it. And looking at his resume, the race-winning pace outside of Watkins Glen, which was in his hands until it slipped away from him, has really kind of been his only shot this year at the win. But I tell you what, he's been stringing together points like nobody's business over the past 2 months here to even give himself a chance coming into tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, Clint is somebody who's especially in the playoffs, I think we really saw his momentum swing into that, positive range. And I mean, at Las Vegas, out of the championship 4, he has the most laps led, through all of the seasons that they've ran. But right, I mean, he also has the worst finishing position. So I think last week he was very optimistic about him, and Jared were optimistic about Vegas. And I think tonight Clint's going to have a tall mountain here trying to beat these 3. And I think we will see Clint doing, a little bit more than we've seen throughout the season, especially when it comes down to the wire here in Vegas.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting, obviously right now while we're talking in the pre-race show, pre-race practice is actively ongoing on track, and that 077 to Clint Halterman is the car who's run the fastest lap in practice so far, which I think is really interesting for a car that really hasn't had the speed maybe that these 3 have had so far this year. The fact that he has gone out and put out the fastest practice lap so far, I think is a really positive sign for the UNC Charlotte driver. While we're on that topic, Jared Kaler currently 3rd in practice, Cummings 4th, and Miranda, I believe, around 9th or 10th. So that is just, obviously it's practice. You can't gleam into that too much, but I'm sure it'll be a little bit of positive momentum there for Clint Halterman and the UNC Charlotte squad, knowing that that Clint is currently the fastest car in practice. But quite frankly, while the paths to get there will probably vary for each of these drivers, I have no doubt that whoever wins the championship tonight, Brad, is going to need, at the bare minimum, a podium, very likely a win.
Yeah, and I think we've seen that in seasons past where it's, pretty much anyone that wants a chance at any type of, anything above 4th in this final 4, they have to finish within the top 5 nonetheless. So I think we're going to see, one of these guys ultimately winning the race, having to win the race over one of these others. I just don't know which one. Actually, Alex, if not to give a commentator's curse, but out of these 4, who do you think has the best chance winning at Vegas tonight?
Oh, man, that is a loaded question, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I hesitate to really pull any one of these out, but I think about how these cars have run over the past couple weeks, and I know Miranda's the slowest in in practice right now of the 4, but man, over the past couple weeks has he been dialed in. I know he's been putting in a lot of prep. I don't know if he'll win it. I think he'll be there at the end.
Yeah, I don't doubt it at all. I mean, I'm kind of on a split between him, Jared. I mean, really, I can see any of these 4. I really can't say I can't. So I would, if I had to take a logical guess, I guess, from what I've been seeing throughout the season here, I mean, I think Jake Cummings has been the guy to beat in some of these races. And I think most of the time, if he's not the guy to beat, he's the guy trying to beat the guy who's, going to win the race. So I think he's going to be someone that is going to be up front all night. And I think, out of these four, I think they're going to have to battle Jake Cummings for this win.
Well, we will find out in just a couple of minutes how that is going to play out. We're going to take a quick commercial break, folks. You aren't going to want to go anywhere. When we come back, it will be the start of the Championship 200 presented by the Garage Shop. It is going to be the final race of the Garage Shop College Cup Series season. A champion gets crowned tonight, and you'll want to be with us the whole step of the way to see who that driver is. So we'll be back in just a couple moments.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. It's compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
Months of hard work, consistency, controversy. After it all, we finally have our Final Four. Ready to gamble everything under the lights here in Las Vegas. This is the CIL Garage Shop College Cup Series Championship Race.
As a child, you would wait and watch from far away, but you always knew that you'd be the one that would while they all play. And you'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream.
They make their way through the trioval. Mario Miranda comes back to win it here in Talladega. Line through 3 and 4. Cummings gets a run on Hagan. He has a half a car length ahead. Can he hold it? The 27, the 95, into the wall. They're wrecking. Diving to the pylon. It is Mario Miranda stealing it at the line. The former champion or the newcomer looking for his first win. Who's it going to be? Door to door, off of turn number 4, it's going to be Jared Kaler going the victory lane for the first time since season 6. Steals it at the line as everyone wrecked behind him. The Chicagoan will pick up the first win for Converse University and punch his ticket to the playoffs while winning. 6 for the final time, coming up on a little bit of lap traffic. But Converse University's Jake Cummings going to get his second win in 3 races, and the 95 is going to punch his ticket to the round of 8. After months of grit, glory, and gut-wrenching competition, it all comes down to this. 4 drivers have clawed their way to the championship 4, but only one will leave Las Vegas as the champion. For the contenders tonight, it's simple. No points, no calculators, just a flat-out fight for victory and the ultimate prize of the Garage Shop College Cup Series Championship. The confetti is loaded, the trophy is gleaming, and history is waiting to be written. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the final stage, the final showdown of this year's Garage Shop College Cup Series season. Along with co-commentator and former CIL driver Brad Daniels and producer Christian Hill up here in the booth, I'm Alex Gagnon, welcoming you into tonight's coverage of the Season 11 Championship. It is the Championship 200 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, presented by the Garage Shop. And tonight, a new champion is crowned on the banks of this 1.5-mile oval. Brad, another season is about to be in the books, but before that, one more opportunity for one of these Championship 4 to leave their stamp on it.
And I am totally here for it, Alex. I mean, this track is going to give us a lot of action tonight. And I think this Championship 4 is a great combination of different driving styles, different, we really have 2 UNC Charlotte cars in the mix. So 50% shot at a championship for UNC Charlotte, and then, Wingate and Oklahoma are in for it. So I think tonight we're going to see a lot of fireworks, and like you said, the confetti is ready to get shot.
Yeah, it's ready to go off here for one of these guys crossing the line. Real quick, let's take a look at our sponsors who have made this series possible all year long. First off, we'll start with Whiplash SimCams, I suppose. An iRacing and Esports media group specializing in racing and team graphics, iRacing camera packs, and other broadcasting resources. Next up, it is the title sponsor, the Garage Shop, also putting together this one tonight. Thank you to the Garage Shop for sponsoring tonight's race. A race car fabrication company that builds some of the fastest and most unique cars, trucks, and off-road vehicles. Their mission is simple: to honor the racers who came before us and to put our competitors behind us. You can visit thegarageshop200.com for more information. ECAC Esports, existing to add value to its member schools by enhancing the competitive experience for hundreds of students seeking to participate in intercollegiate esports. And the Makoni Setup Shop, the home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, and more, the official setup shop of eNASCAR and the CIL. Subscriptions are available today at MakoniSetupShop.com. So we'll take a look here at the venue of tonight's championship race, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, out in the desert. Brad, talk to us a little bit about the site of the championship race tonight.
Well, Vegas is a 1.5 mile track, located in Las Vegas. Everyone, ready to gamble, ready to roll the dice here tonight. And, this track, as you can see, also has an inner track there. But opened in 1971, and you can see it was first seen in Season 4 where Jared Kaler took home the win. So, this track is your typical 1.5 mile track that is very exciting with this next-gen car. And, Alex, it's going to be an exciting one tonight.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. This is a great place to have a race, an even better place to have a championship. And we'll take a quick look here at our qualifying lap at Las Vegas. We'll jump on board, I believe, with the 88 of Andrew Stagey, making his final start in the student division tonight for Ball State, repping a nice little holiday festive theme. And you'll see the 88 there who put that car inside the top 10 go to work.
And now getting down to the nitty-gritty of Las Vegas, you can see Stagey's taking that higher line to try and build up the momentum to try and set up that second lap. You want to get these tires a little bit warmed up for that hot lap, and you can see he's doing exactly that by trying to get the momentum running down through the tri-oval here. And this track is momentum based for 1.5 miles. You can see he's running that inside line. The tires will die off a little faster down there, but also there's a lot of speed to be gained. There's a lot of time to be gained as well down there. So you can see he's using every inch that he can of this racetrack right down to the apron and sliding right up to that wall, going through the tri-oval and using the apron as well.
Yeah, using every part of that racing surface to help him out here tonight, and I think that will be necessary in qualifying to get your time. When we actually see cars on track, I doubt they'll be going to the apron too much unless they really have to. There's not as much time to be gained there as it would be a Phoenix with its infamous dog leg, but we will see probably a little bit of that. But while we have a second, let's take a look at tonight's starting grid. We've got about just a couple of minutes here before the green flag drops, so we'll run you through the field as they get ready to go here. Leading off tonight, it is Daniel Nanny for Ball State University, last week's winner, trying to end out the season with another win. Drew Williams from Clemson, the regular season champ, but not in the Final Four, rolls off to his outside. Muhammad Alif rolls off in position number 3 for Ball State, and then Clint Halterman, the first of the Championship 4 cars to qualify, and he will be rolling off in the 4th position. 5th tonight, we'll see another one of the Championship 4, Jake Cummings from Converse University. Kelton Quick for Ball State rolls off to his outside. Row 4 will be Brandon Schulenberger for Wingate and Lucas Moody for Ball State. And in row 5, it will be Andrew Stagey for Ball State and Joseph Grijalva for Purdue.
And starting in your 6th row, you see Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College, and to his outside, Edward Sanchez from Baruch. In row 7, Nicholas Stockner from Clemson University to his outside, Bryce Kobler from Henry and Henry University. And in 15th, another Championship 4 driver, Jared Kaler, starting a little further back in the field than usual from UNC Charlotte to his outside, Garrett Vighton from Arizona State University. Brian Whitlock from the University of Alabama, Huntsville starts 17th. Jason Wallet from Drexel starts 18th. And rounding out your top 20, Andrew Burrell from Clemson University and Esteban Munoz from FIU.
All right, last couple rows here. We'll see our final Championship 4 contender tonight. Mario Miranda from the University of Oklahoma rolls off in 21st. He's going to have a lot of work to do to get up to the front of the field. Spencer Brown rolls off to his outside. UNC Charlotte teammate Alex Finnerty rolls off 23rd with Roger Primo from Paul Smith's College in 24th. Nathaniel Crowan from Toledo, 25th here tonight. Lee Kane rolling off for the University of Southern Mississippi in 26th. Edwin Onofre and Matthew Nordberg, a pair of alumni, will make up that spot there, 27th and 28th. And the last car in the field tonight will be Auburn's Landon Velicki. So 29 cars making up the grid for the final race here tonight at Las Vegas. Should be a fun one to watch. The Championship 4 kind of scattered here, Brad. Clint Halterman, Jake Cummings rolling off 4th and 5th. Jared Kaler, Mario Miranda, a lot of work to do if they're going to get up to those two.
Yeah, and I mean, Jared, we've seen him all season. He might not be the greatest at qualifying, but he's definitely there when it matters. So he's going to battle his way up through this field, I believe, throughout this first stage. And then, Mario Miranda starting back in the back, but we know he has speed, determination. He'll be up there in no time.
So race analysis on your screen here tonight. 133 laps, 200 miles. All that remains in Season 11 for the CIL College Cup Series. Stage scheduled for tonight at lap 60. The pit window, about 50 to 55 laps, so might be a little short of that stage. Could lead to some interesting fuel strategy out there tonight, depending on if this one goes green for a while or not. Pit road speed, obviously 45 miles an hour here at Vegas. 5 sets of tires over the wall available for these drivers, and a nice, beautiful night for racing. 68 degrees outside, 69 degrees on track right now. So the track temps are a little cold, but the air temperature will be very nice to be sitting out there as a fan watching this one. Not too humid, not too windy, just a beautiful night for some racing under the lights. To the field, getting ready to go. Pace car going to peel off this time by. Will make the left-hand turn. Daniel Nanny and Drew Williams ready to lead the field, the green. And for the last time this season, we are racing in the Garage Shop College Cup Series. Green flags out of Vegas. It is getting hectic behind them already. Muhammad Ali was 3 wide there with Drew Williams and Jake Cummings. Cummings will slide on by, as will Williams. Halterman now looking to the inside, so Daniel Nanny jumps to the point here, as we've seen him do time after time these past couple weeks. Jake Cummings, the first of the Championship 4, right now running in P2. We're on board with Clinton Halterman, currently scored in the 5th position, sandwiched between a couple of those Ball State Cardinals.
And you can see he's now going. He started out the first of the Championship 4, but now trying to chase down Jake Cummings. But he's got a couple cars in front of him. Drew Williams, regular season champ. We saw he's had speed all season, along with Muhammad Ali. I mean, these two guys are hard, racers to get by. So he's going to have a lot of work just to catch up to Jake Cummings and then get past him. But we're only on lap 3. Nothing really to worry about right now. But one thing to notice, folks, on the left side, you can see on the scoring table, the Championship 4 will be highlighted in a yellow color on the left side. So you can see Jared Kaler in 13th is highlighted, and Mario Miranda, currently a little further down, is also highlighted in 18th.
There's a little onboard shot of Clint working to the inside of our Muhammad Alif right now for the 4th position, as Cummings will lose out to Drew Williams for 2nd, so he'll fall back to the final step of the podium here. Clint more than happy to run the low side in the early going. And these opening couple laps as a driver, the biggest thing is to get settled in, try and get the nerves out a little bit, and just start getting into a rhythm. The last thing you need is for it to be a series of restarts and get your nerves all the more fired up from what they would be for an event like this. As you see Alif trying to send it 3 wide here again, looking to the middle of Williams and Cummings. This time, though, it will work for the driver of the 12. And Alif will move to 2nd, jumping ahead of Drew Williams and Jake Cummings. So now Ball State runs 1-2. And then you can tack on 6-7 as well with Lucas Moody and Kelton Quick just behind him. Look at the freight train, though, forming behind the 30 right now. It is nose to tail through the top 4 after 6 laps.
You can see Drew Williams wants to break up this Ball State 1-2. I mean, we've seen this, our Muhammad Alif, Daniel Nanny 1-2 a lot late in the season. And you can see now Drew Williams wants to try and break this up before it starts, snowballing throughout this race. As you can see to the inside, coming through the tri-oval.
Yeah, door to door here as they make their way in the 1. Close quarters between the 12 and the 123. That being said, they've done a good job to this point of making sure they haven't been bouncing off each other. Jake Cummings laying in wait just behind him. Running in the 4th position, he is back to right around where he qualified now. And it's a little side-by-side behind him as well. Halterman trying to hold off Kelton Quick right now in the battle for 6th. That seems to be a battle that he is losing out on, but we almost have a battle for the lead here as Alif and Williams got to the corner of Nanny, but the 30 with a nice dive to the inside. Oh, contact there between Clemson and Ball State. Well, you can tell Drew Williams really going to be aggressive early here, trying to not let the Ball State Cardinals get established in those 1st and 2nd spots like we've seen the past couple weeks.
Doing about everything he can. I mean, all the contact helped him through turn 2 there, but it looks like Alif's going to have that pole coming through the tri-oval, and it's slightly going to clear Drew for now, but Drew's going to power back on that low side, send it in there. But Alif is using that top line to try and get as much momentum down these straights as possible. You can see Drew's made it. He's clear, but it's a lot more calamity further on back.
Yeah, I'm watching deeper in the field here. Jared Kaler and Mario Miranda have been in a absolute fight here in the middle of the field. Miranda actually just bounced off of, I believe it was Esteban Munoz. Munoz was in the bottom of a 3 wide situation with Miranda, and it was, I want to say, maybe Edwin Onofre. So the 89 maybe taking a little bit of damage there, trying to run that high side, trying to make up some lost ground. And he is now just outside the top 10. It has been a fast start for the Oklahoma driver, going from 21st to 10th here in the opening 10 laps. Jared Kaler also up a couple of positions as well, but he is having a little bit of a tougher time trying to work his way through the field compared to Miranda at this moment, as Miranda is closing in on Clint Halterman there, only 2 positions back. Those would be the 2nd and 3rd running cars of the Championship 4. But they were all chasing Jake Cummings right now.
I mean, one person to also note here is you see them go 3 wide going into 3 here. Ryan Whitlock, Edwin Onofre, Bryce Kobler battling it all out in this mid-pack section. I mean, it's getting crazy. You see Brandon Schoenberger's now sucked into 3 wide action.
Yeah, they just swapped out the 5 for the 7. The 3 wide continues. All of this happening directly behind Jared Kaler. Got to imagine the driver of the 58 just happy it's happening behind him as opposed to in front of him. As you see just ahead of him, Miranda taking a peek to the inside of Zach DeWale now. It has been fast and furious here in the opening several laps. It has been, you're seeing a lot of these runs form, enough of a draft to be formed to get some momentum into these corners. And then people really get kind of bottled up running alongside each other in the corners, but they're making those lines work. And it's been really interesting to see who's been trying to run the bottom versus who's going up toward the wall.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing before all that calamity happened is I wanted to say Nick Stockton right now is up to the 5th position, currently knocking on Jake Cummings' door, trying to get that 4th position away from him. He's up 8 positions from starting 13th. So a lot of movement here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, there has been a lot of movement indeed, and there's still an incredible battle happening for second. Our Muhammad Alif has cleared Daniel Nanny, mind you. So now Alif is in first. Nanny and Williams side by side for second. Cummings and Stockner side by side for fourth. It's 2x2 basically all the way back through the top 10. It finally singles files out again at Clint Halterman running in ninth. But look at this little battle happening here. The top 10, you could throw a blanket and cover them all.
Yeah, and this track is so fun to run on these early laps with these tires because you can absolutely throw the car wherever you want. As you see, Drew Williams is getting basically a push from Jake Cummings past Daniel Nanny, but Nanny's going to dive it on in there. And now it's 3 wide.
Whoa.
2 blimps in. Oh!
Oh, and everything getting bottled up behind him. Miranda's in the grass. And the yellow's out. Oh, wallet sideways.
Man, oh, man. Oh, Edwin and no praise. Jared Kaler's also around.
Oh. Championship 4 implications there. And that all started with, dare I say, an aggressive move from Nicholas Stockner to make that 3 wide.
Also looks like Edwin and Nofre's limping back to Pennant Road. It looks like his car might be done for the day. A lot to unravel here.
So we'll try and take a look at the replay here, see what happened. We kind of saw what happened to start it, but we have to kind of see how it filtered out through the field, because this had some waves to it. The starts there with Stockner starting to wash up the track a little bit into a 3 wide situation with Cummings and Williams. Sends Williams around, full on checks Stagey. Wow, I really messed up. Stagey into the wall. Oh, Whitlock got turned by Bryce Kobler on a completely unrelated incident. Hold on. That actually might be where some of this other carnage comes in. Because you see, they both wash up the track. It collects Garrett fighting. This is how Jason Wallet goes around as well. All right, so it was 2 separate incidents that both happened off the exit of turn 4. Wow.
I mean, Jared Kaler also got turned around in turn 1, so I think there might be a third, domino that fell here.
We'll have to see if we can find, a no phrase around over there too. So we'll find the Jared Kaler one in just a moment. But first, we'll take a look at the wild ride here for Ryan Whitlock and Bryce Kobler. That was the, we'll say, step 2 of this 3-step caution.
It looked like Whitlock got a little loose coming out of 4. Kind of probably saw that action happening in front of him. We'll ride along with him now. You see Grijalva's right behind, but, taking into slow-mo here. Grijalva's up high.
Wicked loose down to the apron. Loses a ton of speed. Yeah, there's nowhere for Kobler to go. When the camera cut back to him the first time, it looked like the 5 had just gotten under him, but the 81 was way down on speed. He was all out of sorts, and there was nowhere for the 5 of Bryce Kobler to go there. So there's the second part, and then something happens between Edwin Onofre and Jared Kaler. Deeper into this, going into turn 1, you were saying, Brad. Let's see what happened here.
You can see all the calamity happening. I mean, looks like Kaler is able to make it through the initial calamity, but looks like they're trying to clean it up. A little bit more contact. Oh, Esteban Munoz. Munoz hits Kaler, who then throws it into Edwin Onofre. Man, oh man, that was just, it looked like just a chain reaction from everyone trying to sprawl out from slowing down for the caution.
Wow. And I know, at least historically, at drafting tracks, Munoz and Kaler, very close. They typically chose each other as drafting partners. I believe the 2 of them are pretty good friends. So that is a really tough pill to swallow there for the UNC Charlotte driver, who now is going to have to fight a real uphill battle if he's going to have a chance at winning this championship tonight. That car definitely took a big shot.
See, everyone's trying to collect it back up now. The pace car I believe we're coming to the green now, and you can see Jared Kaler still trying to make it back up to the field.
Everyone trying to catch up to the lines here as they get into 3 and 4. It's going to be Spencer Brown and Nick Stockner up at the front of the field. I believe the only two cars who did not come down pit road that time by. Nanny in the lead, row 2. Cummings and Halterman, row 3. So the pace car will peel off. Green flag is going to go back in the air. And here we go once again. Not a great start for the outside line. Spencer Brown going to clear and leave him in the dust going in the 1.
Spencer Brown having a great shot out of the gates there, but you see Daniel Nanny's right there, but we have some 3 wide action further back, including Clint Halterman. Jake Cummings has cleared all this now, and you can see it's just, oh, Jake Cummings around.
Oh, more cars wrecking behind him. I do believe the 95 kept it off the wall. But oh boy, that was a very tense moment for another one of the championship 4. Looks like Cummings' former teammate, Brandon Schulenberger there for Wingate, also around. Holy, what happened there?
I mean, one thing to note from all of that, now Mario Miranda's leading the championship 4, sitting in 3rd place. Got a lot of good things happening for him right now in the early goings.
We're on board here with the 95. Looked to be pretty smooth sailing. Coming up alongside Spencer. Oh, yeah. Something, either he lost it off a 2 or someone gave him some help.
Whew. Good job of keeping off the wall.
Yeah, incredible job of keeping it off the wall. That could have been bad. Let's see. It looks like the car behind him actually was Mario Miranda in the 89. Yeah, just gets under him a little bit.
Elbows out in the championship 4, and luckily Cummings is able to save it off the inside wall. He's probably going to keep that in the back of his mind in case he gets back to Miranda, see if he, isn't so nice trying to battle with him. We'll take an onboard with Miranda here now.
I think the important thing to note is that the 95 does not run the apron at any point in this corner. The 89 was already half a lane lower to begin with, and as they start making their way out of the corner, Miranda just got a bit of a better run and kind of closed right up the rear bumper there of the 95. And it is tough to do anything to avoid contact in that situation. That being said, it certainly is going to put a damper on things for the 95, who's going to get a little bit of repairs done here. Put some fresh tires on it, and there's the onboard with Jake Cummings, the Converse University driver. I would not say beef. That is an overly ambitious word, but the battles between Converse and Oklahoma this season have been well documented. Obviously, you think back to Kansas, Cummings and Hagan, wreck coming to the line. Miranda ends up stealing that win. More contact here. It has been a war between those two schools all season long. And why would the championship race be any different, eh, Brad?
Yeah, right. I mean, right now, it's kind of stress. You also, Mario wants to keep that momentum coming out of the corner, so I understand, he's foot to the floor. But as you see at the top of your screen, Mario Miranda gets handed a penalty for avoidable contact with Jake Cummings, so that means he's going to get an EOL. So him and Jake Cummings will be starting near each other.
So after an opening 15 or so lap stint that was under green, it's been a little bit slower these past couple laps. Back-to-back cautions has kind of really shuffled up the field in a big way. Just heard over the comms, though, that Mario Miranda has reached out to the 95 to apologize on that one. Issued the penalty, acknowledging that was definitely on him and not going to be too fighting about that one. And the two of them will have to work their way back through the field again if they want any chance of getting back up to the front. And, through all of that attrition, once again, leading the championship for Brad, it's going to be Clint Halterman, who comes into this race no wins and only the one top 5, and has continued to put himself in position week after week to give himself a chance, and once again is doing just that.
Yeah, I mean, here in the Championship 4, everyone starts at the same points level, so stage points don't come into play at all either. So whoever finishes ahead of, the other 3 is the champion. So Clint, no matter what happened in the past, he can win it just based on finishing position. And, Mario does have to go to the back of the pack here. So Clint's going to be in a very advantageous spot as the other 3 have had troubles in the early goings today.
Yeah, I do believe that is going to make 3 of the Championship 4 restart from beyond the 20th position. And then it'll leave Clint Halterman restarting in the 5th position, I believe. So, prime opportunity for Clint to get some distance from his 3 competitors here for the title. He'll actually be restarting 3rd. He is that second car on the inside. The rest of the Championship 4 with plenty of work to do to get back to the front. Daniel Nanny, Spencer Brown going to lead them to the green. Clint Halterman, Lucas Moody, row 2. Zach Durrell, Nick Stockman, row 3. As they make their way into 3 and 4. Everybody's been on quite the hot streak lately, picking up several wins in a row now. And Ball State as a whole has just been on a dominant stretch across all forms of CIL competition, both on the oval and the road side. Trying to keep that momentum going with one more race here tonight in the Garage Shop College Cup Series. Base car will peel off. Nanny and Brown going to lead them to the line, and we are racing once again.
And he gets a huge jump, and you can see Clint Halterman's going to follow right behind, slide into that outside roll. So you see Spencer Brown gets thrown into that third 3-wide situation, 2 Ball State below him, and now he's just falling back as you see Ball State is now trying to mount a charge. Uh-oh!
Whoa! Someone's around.
Looks like Kaler
might have been Ryan Whitlock, yeah. The 81.
Kaler got in. Woo. Oh. Looked like that driver's side rear tire was not moving, and that will send him back to pit road.
Looks like Jason Wallet was also on the scene as well, but Ryan Whitlock was the only one facing the wrong way. That must have been a disagreement on the entry of turn 1 because, I mean, they hadn't even got really through the apex of the corner before the Alabama Huntsville machine was pointed the wrong way. Oh, he just got juggled around. He made contact with each of the Championship 4 cars that were back there. He made contact with Miranda, with Kaler, and with Cummings.
Take
so
another
it starts
look
here. And just runs out of room. I mean, he's quite literally sandwiched between Nathaniel Crone and Jake Cummings. And then bounces off of Miranda, back up the track in front of Cummings, and then Kaler head on. And then into the outside wall where Jason Wallet gets into the back of them both.
It's a battle of attrition here in Vegas, which I didn't think would be a thing for Championship 4, but right now, I mean, these 3 that are set outside of the top 19, sitting in 20th right now, but all of them really need repairs after that. So Clint Halterman's, having a good first 27 laps to this race.
I tell you what, the best thing Clint Halterman has done so far is not be involved in anything. And that has been his saving grace. He still runs inside the top 5. Meanwhile, all the Championship 4 cars now with damage and with repairs needing to be made, especially the 58. He took a wild shot there across the nose of that car. You see the right front very torn up on the UNC Charlotte machine. The car that took probably the least amount of damage of the Championship 4 in that was Miranda, probably just a little bit of passenger side damage. Cummings, Kaler, though, definitely a bit more. I was trying to see if we could take a look here, trying to get an idea if the right front toe link on that car is broken. It's possible.
I think the wheel might be, I don't know. You see Kaler's
he seems to be rolling off fine, and he's going to be rolling off on the lead lap still, so whatever it is must not be affecting the car too badly. But that is a very loose speculation at this time. And, you know, Brad, they always tell you the last thing that you should be doing in a broadcast booth is speculating, because it doesn't help you and it doesn't help the folks at home. But in moments like that, you can't help but wonder, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if that toe link gets broke, it's the end of his night pretty much. He has to go a lap down or two just to get it repaired. And at that point, to even get back on the lead lap feels like you're winning the race. So he's gonna, you know, as you see up above there, looks like Jake Cummings ends up with the EOL for that one.
Which is, I understand how we got to that. It's definitely a bit of a tough one there, because of how close everyone was running in proximity with each other. But alas, now that is 2 drivers of the championship 4 who are on a strike now for causing a collision, according to the race stewards, and 3 of them with pretty significant amounts of damage as far as a championship battle is concerned. And then you've got Clint Halterman, who's sitting up there in P2. I can't imagine he's particularly happy in this moment in time. He knows there's still a ton of work ahead of him, but for better or for worse, you cannot draw up much more of a better start for the 077.
Yeah, I mean, no damage on the car. The car looks beautiful right now, and he's keeping it clean, keeping it safe. And, you know, pretty much, if he can keep this thing straight, I think he has a very good shot with how things are going right now.
There's the onboard with Ball State's Andrew Stagey announcing earlier today that this will be his final race in the CIL for the foreseeable future. He graduates this semester. We want to wish him all the best and whatever he gets up to next. He said he might be coming back sooner rather than later as an alumni, of which that is always encouraged here in the CIL. It's been fun having Andrew a part of it. By his own admission, a driver who did not do much of any sim racing before he got to college. Found his way onto the Ball State team, learned to race with the best of them, guys like Daniel Nanny or Muhammad Alif, and now a regular inside the top 10 and one of the playoff drivers of this year. It's been fun watching him go to work and seeing the growth between his first race and how he's performed this season. Trying to go out there and maybe steal a win in his final student CIL start. Little wave for the camera. Guess someone let him know that he was on. With that, the pace car gonna peel off down pit road. It'll be Daniel Nanny and Clinton Halterman, Zach DeWale and R. Muhammad Alif ready to lead this field to the green flag. And we are racing once again. Will they be able to get a lap? Oh, big time check him on the outside. Already things spiraling out of control here as they're 3 wide in the 1.
But Halterman did not have a good start at all, and it caused a lot of calamity on that outside line. But right now, it looks like Andrew Stagey is on the inside of Edward Sanchez. That's really the only car side by side once you get back through the top 15 here, and they're going to settle it out now.
Oh, Spencer Brown nearly lost it off of 4. Nordberg and Sanchez going to dive to the inside to clear the 52. And now here comes Stagey and Williams trying to do the same. The 52 is all types of loose right now, trying to keep him from wrecking. Oh, he makes contact with the 16. Lee Kane able to keep it going. Good save, but boy, the 52 looks like he's a moment away from losing control of that car. Loses a ton of positions, and that may be for the best. The safest place for that car right now might be in a spot with no other cars around him. As you see a UNC Charlotte teammate there, Jared Kaler, going to try and make a pass for position. That is the battle for 23rd.
Going back up here with our currently second place in our championship for Jake Cummings looking to the backside of Esteban Munoz. That's the battle for 12th. But as you can see, Munoz is now battling Stagey for the 11th position, and Drew Williams is on the inside of Lucas Moody for 9th. And Cummings is eyeing this all up, trying to make his way back up to the front and try to challenge Clint Halterman.
Yeah, trying to make up for lost time here, trying to get back to where he knows that car can run. He's cleared Stagey, trying to get around Lucas Moody here. Might be able to do it here going into 3 and 4. He's to the inside of him and Esteban Munoz. The FIU machine going to roll that high side. Going to stay ahead of Cummings for the time being. Just behind them, those two Ball State cars, you can see Mario Miranda lurking in the distance. He's up to the 13th position now, the Oklahoma driver. So those Championship 4 contenders starting to work their way back to the front. They're all chasing Clint Halterman right now. Halterman currently running in the 4th position, not losing any more spots after that rough restart.
You can see Halterman's holding off Matthew Norberg. Going through the tri-oval here, riding onboard through the back cam. So you can see Norberg's all over the backside of the UNC Charlotte machine.
Matt Nordberg here, the NC State Wolfpack, running in the 5th position. 4 of the top 5 right now, alumni drivers. It's been a strong start to the day for the alumni division. Some days we don't see any in the top 10, and right now we see 4 in the top 5. Everyone trying to track down Daniel Nanny, and let me tell you, he's under some pressure right now. Nick Stockner and Zach DeWale all over the back bumper going in the 1. And they are continuing to apply chase here while they run door to door.
A lot of movement. Daniel Nanny right now is not able to get away, though. So you see Nicholas Stockner is now sitting in 2nd place, trying to track him down. These new tires can really get you anywhere you need to go. The bad thing is if this turns into a long green flag run, we might see Stockner lose out. But you see he's right now battling Danny for that lead right now, coming out of 2 side by side, door to door.
Tell you what, the 124's got some juice under the hood tonight. Door to door with Daniel Nanny goes Nick Stockner. The Clemson driver, little bit of contact off of 4, nothing too crazy. And they are going to continue to be pumping and banging down the front straightaway. Clemson and Ball State looking to try and battle for the lead here.
Whoa!
And Stockner got a little bit of the apron, made him lose a bit of ground and nearly got into the 30. The 124 is fast, but a little loose on the controls at the moment.
And you saw that was a perfect time for our Muhammad Alif to enter the picture. But Stockner's not going to let him go easily, as you see Alif's going to use that momentum coming out of 4 and try and make the pass to make this a Ball State 1-2. But Stockner's using every bit of the track, every bit of these tires to try and stay beside Alif. But Alif's using his pace right now, his momentum to get past Stockner, but still, Stockner's impressing everyone here right now, trying to make sure Clemson gets on the pedestal.
So right now, Ball State runs 1-2, then it's Clemson, St. Clair College, and UNC Charlotte in the top 5, although maybe not for Laura Rowe. Joseph Grijalva, Drew Williams, big time contact on the front straightaway. Williams trying to lock it down. No one else is going to get caught up in it, but that will bring out the yellow for the 4th time this evening.
And Drew did everything to keep it off the wall, but that almost caused a bigger collision between him and some of the other drivers. Good avoidance for those behind him.
Take another look at this. You see Grijalva there for Purdue, kind of caught in the middle of all this with Halterman in front of him, Williams behind him. Williams goes low, down toward the apron. Grijalva kind of splits the difference a little bit, but he can't come up the track necessarily with Nordberg there. And as Williams tries to re-enter, I mean, Grijalva just gave the driver no room. And this is the scariest moment as a driver. When you start watching up the track, knowing that there's cars coming, you just hope they see you and that they get around you, because there is nothing you can do when you're sliding like that.
Can we get an onboard with Andrew Stagey? It looks like he was the one that had to make a little bit of evasive maneuvers to get around Drew.
Yeah, we'll see if we can jump on board with the 88 of Andrew Stagey. Got a nice little view here on board with the Ball State machine. You see he has a pretty good gap back to this group. But that's when he finds himself in the perfect position to have to. Oh man, you see he really had to get up and out of the way, and that's a scary moment as a driver. I'm also hearing in chat, Brad, if Nick Stockner wins the race, the league gets dissolved. Oh man, I mean, tell you what, he's got some crazy speed tonight. He looks racy.
I was gonna say, I mean, you take the whole league out in a bang. I mean, Nick has been up at the front all night tonight. He's been battling Nanny, and all the rest of these Ball State guys at the front, along with everyone else here in the top 10. Started out 13th and really has been within the top 8 or so since lap 3 or 4. So he's got the speed right now, and I mean, he's letting everyone know that he's still here to battle it out and try and win tonight here at Vegas.
Yeah, he's looking for his first ever CIL victory. If he finds his way to victory lane tonight, what a way to play spoiler that would be. Although you could say that for any of these guys in the top 4, Daniel Nanny, R. Muhammad Alif, Nick Stockner, Zach DeWale, all non-championship 4 drivers running in the top 4 right now. This would be a fun way to wrap the season, I'm sure, if you're one of these 4 drivers. Be like, someone else may win the championship, but I'm going to go out with a bang. I'm going to be the one to win the race. Happened last year with Jake Cummings winning that race despite the fact he was not in the Final 4. So there is definitely some precedent for it. We could definitely see it again here tonight. These Ball State cars continue to look faster as they have the entire postseason. Daniel Nanny, R. Muhammad Alif running 1-2. Clint Halterman, the highest running of our Championship 4 drivers right now, running in the 5th position. The other Championship 4 drivers as they run, Jake Cummings scored in 7th, Mario Miranda 10th, and Jared Kaler scored 24th or 25th at the moment. He has been trying to get damage repaired on that car every opportunity he's got.
And run alumni. Well, right now there's 4 alumni in a row from 3rd to 6th, but right now in 6th, Matthew Nordberg, he's up 22 positions from starting 28th tonight. He's really mounting a charge here when it matters, and as you can see, some others, Esteban Munoz and Mario Miranda, our Championship 4 contender right now, up 11 positions. Nick Stockner, as we've been talking about already, has been up 10 positions, and Roger Primo rounds out up 9 positions.
A couple of faces that we typically see in the most position gains. A couple of new faces as well. And that is the joy of the sport. Any given night, if you've got the right stuff and the right approach to it, you could be the one making that big charge through the field, trying to make your way to victory lane at the end of the night.
Well,
so the stage is scheduled for lap 60. So if this were to stay green, Brad, we get about a 15-lap sprint to the end, about the same distance as that opening stretch. Who do you feel that favors if this stays green the rest of the way to the stage?
I mean, right now, I think Daniel Nanny, hasn't really burned too much of his tires battling anyone. I mean, we saw Nick Stockner try to get by him, but that's really the only battle he's been suffocated by this entire race. He's really just been running the front right now. I mean, there was time, he did fall back a little bit, but I think him, R. Muhammad Alif, really, those two are going to benefit from a longer pace run.
Now, speaking of pacing, the pacing here under yellow just about to wrap. We are in 3 and 4. Pace car about to make his way back down pit road. It'll be Daniel Nanny, R. Muhammad Alif leading the field to green. Stockner, DeWale, row 2. And then Halterman, Nordberg in that 3rd row. Pace car back down pit lane, doing a little bit of a drift to get back down under the cone. Green flag back in the air. And once again, a great launch for Daniel Nanny. Not a particularly stellar launch for Alif. Going to be a little side-by-side action maybe as we go in the 1 and 2. Not quite for 2nd, but for 3rd on back, it is double file.
Yeah, it looked like really anyone but Daniel Nanny didn't have a great start there. As you see, Stockner's able to make it to the 3rd position, but now Clint Halterman's battling it out with Zachary DeWale from St. Clair for that 4th position. Clint right now under attack from also his now Championship 4 rival, Jake Cummings, right behind him. So, after all this calamity, Cummings has made it back up to battle Clint Halterman for that top spot. But we're still early in this race. As you see, Nordberg, Esteban Munoz, and, 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 Joseph Grijalva all having this battle.
Yeah, Munoz kind of trapped in a 3-wide situation right now. Sanchez down low, Grijalva up high. Sanchez going to back out just a little bit. The action's not done for him yet, though, as Miranda looks to the outside. He's thinking about making a 3-wide, and he will. Outside of 3-wide now for Miranda. Munoz and Sanchez to his inside. Let's see if they find a way to get this sorted out now. And it looks like they will. Sanchez is going to fall in behind. Miranda gets a good run on the high side. He looks to clear Munoz here into 3 and 4. He is ahead, at least at the middle of the corner. And it does look like he will clear the FIU Panther car.
Single file out all the way back outside the top 10. It looks like 11th and 12th is right now the current battle between two cars. As I say that, Mario Miranda is trying to make it past Joseph Grijalva for 8th, and he will, using that momentum. Grijalva's going to fall in the line right in front of Esteban Munoz.
So Miranda now up to 8th, Cummings up to 6th. They are both knocking on the door of Clint Halterman for the lead of the Championship 4 drivers. Halterman running in 4th right now, on board with Miranda. He's got a back bumper view right now of Jake Cummings. The 95 right in front got really loose, washed up the track, got into the wall a little bit, and now Miranda looks to capitalize, diving to the inside.
Miranda's going to be able to take that position, and now Cummings is going to try and rebound, stay in front of Joseph Grijalva, and now chase down the Oklahoma machine.
So these two cars running in the 7th and 8th position right now. It has been an up and down day for them both, particularly because of one another.
As it looks like we have a change of the leader right now, as Muhammad Alif has taken the lead away from Daniel Nanny. Nick Stockner is now trying to follow it up as well.
Stockner is glued to Alif's back bumper, actually pushing him down the front straightaway.
Oh.
Side by side, potentially off the corner. Looks like Nanny's going to retake the lead here over Alif. Stockner will fall to 3rd. Halterman had a run for a moment on the inside and had nowhere to go. Falls back to 5th. Now Stockner goes low. Went high the last time around, but he is just finding wherever Alif is not right now, trying to make it work. Halterman and DeWale run side by side just behind him. Well, it is frantic up at the front as we get closer and closer to that stage break.
And everyone knows that caution is coming, is trying to get the most, points right now don't matter for the Championship 4, but outside of that, everyone else wants as many points as they can. And you can see it's causing a lot of calamity here at the front. I mean, still we got Ball State 1-2, but behind that, Nick Stockner still keeping that 3rd place podium position, but here comes St. Clair College in Zach DeWale. You can see he's going to the outside and is trying to now make a run towards R. Muhammad Alif, but it's not going to work out. And he gets sent back behind Nick Stockner.
Yeah, Alif here trying to hold off a surging DeWale and Stockner right now. He had the lead for a moment around Nanny when the 30 didn't get a great run, but then had the fall back, trying to defend from 2nd as here comes Mario Miranda. Looks to the inside of Halterman. This would be for the lead of the Championship 4. Right now, Miranda glued to the back bumper of Halterman here in the top 5 battle. DeWale will clear Stockner. And there is Miranda there, the 89 for Oklahoma. Going to try and follow Halterman on through to get around the 124 of Stockner.
And this middle line is helping everyone out as you see Stockner slide right up in front of Mario. Mario has to get out of the gas a little bit to avoid Stockner, but is now to the inside of him, to going through the tri-oval. Zach DeWale's also trying to go to the inside of R. Muhammad Alif for 2nd.
There was 1.1 car lengths between Halterman and Miranda when Stockner tried shooting the gap, timed it perfectly. And now it's to the outside of the 89. Meanwhile, Halterman now looking to the inside of DeWale. Oh, and the
early
caution's
caution.
out. Caution is out for somebody. It may have been Jason Wallet, but we'll have to go back and try and find out. With that being within 5 laps of the stage, I do believe that will count as the stage break. So we'll hit the stage break a couple laps early here. And we'll see if we can find what happened to bring out the yellow. Producer Christian believes it is the 76 of Jason Wallet. Let's take a look. Oh, it is confirmed that is the stage. We can confirm that is now officially the stage break. It occurred within 5 laps of the window.
Oh.
But yep, Jason Wallet just lost it off of 4. Locked it down, got into the grass, and that was all she wrote.
And I mean, that inside line does get a little hectic once the tires wear. It's a little harder to control this car. You see, also Esteban Munoz might have had some contact. We'll see here going into 3 behind Edward Sanchez from Baruch College. Brandon Schollenberger to his end side and Joseph Grijalva behind.
Everything seems good there down the front straightaway. Side by side through 1 and 2. Maybe a bit of contact there. Nothing too... Oh, never mind.
There
That's
it is.
where the caution is. Just
Ooh.
sideways enough to bring out the yellow, but what a save from Munoz. Holy.
That was so impressive. I mean, that was the same situation Jake Cummings. They were sideways and somehow kept it off the wall.
Wow. All right, so a couple of things happening all at once, and I guess that was enough for the virtual race control to throw the yellow. But with that, pit cycle has gone underway. It looks like Daniel Nanny going to jump back to the front. R. Muhammad Alif potentially is the second car, but I don't see him there. He may have had a longer stop.
As I say, a little bit of shuffling here throughout the pit stop. There's a lot of different cars up here. Well,
Yeah, now that my timing table is refreshing, it is in fact Daniel Nanny. Zach DeWale is going to be your front row coming up. Miranda jumped Halterman in the pit lane. He's now up to 3rd. Halterman runs 4th. R. Muhammad Alif all the way back to 10th. Was not a good stop for the 12, unless he was getting a little bit of damage repaired. But he's now fallen back to the tail end of the top 10. Jake Cummings 9th. Jared Kaler has gotten some more damage repaired on that machine. He also made some headway during that last run. He got from 25th to 17th. So the slow climb back here for the 58 underway, but he is still far and away the tail end of the Championship 4 right now.
and as you can see at the top of your screen.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, Esteban Munoz looks like he got served the penalty for that last caution with Joseph Grijalva. Surprising that, really brought a caution out. I mean, like you said, he was sideways enough to throw the yellow, but it seemed like he saved it pretty safely.
So we're almost at the halfway mark of this one. Give it about 10 laps or so. And already in the opening half of this race, we've seen 3/4 of the Championship 4 get to the front, have issues, get dropped to the back, have to work their way back. 2 of those 3 have. I tell you what, it has been an eventful night if you are racing for a championship so far. Clint Halterman, who's been battling consistently in the top 5, may have had the easiest draw of the 4 so far. And that's with battling some of the fastest cars on track. That's just how goofy the opening half of this race has been.
And I mean, there's a whole second, not even the second half, we're not even halfway yet, but there's a whole second part of this race that, a lot can happen, especially for these Championship 4. And I mean, Jared Kaler, don't rule him out yet. I know he has damage, but he can definitely mount a charge if his car is back to being stable.
Yeah, and he's been working on it every pit stop, and these frequent cautions in the opening half of the race has given him ample time to work on that car and try and get it patched up. 16th is the highest he's run since that heavy contact with Ryan Whitlock early in the race. So he is slowly but surely working his way back into the picture and trying to make this a 4-car battle for the championship. So it'll be Daniel Nanny, Zach DeWale in that front row. Miranda and Halterman, a couple of playoff drivers, going to be lining up in row 2 just behind them. Pace car will wheel it back down toward the pit entry. Barney's got that green flag high in the air, and here we go once again.
See a lot of side-by-side, but Miranda's going to use that inside line advantage on that start to get to second position. You see Clint Holtman's trying to follow suit and will fall into third. And right now, that's your battle for the championship. But you see a lot more battling happening throughout the field. As you see for the 6th position, Matthew Norberg and another championship 4 contender, Jake Cummings, to his outside. As they come out of 4, it looks like Norberg's going to have a little bit of a run coming out of 4, but it looks like they're door-to-door now.
Yeah, side by side, Nordberg and Cummings. That's the battle for 6th on track. Drew Williams, Muhammad Ali side by side as well. Someone got a piece of the wall there. I want to say it may have been the 124 or the 123. One of those Clemson drivers got a piece of the wall off of turn 4 or off of turn 2. Nordberg gets up into Cummings a little bit, going to cost him a lot of momentum. Cummings will clear, as will Stockner and Williams, who are now side by side. The Clemson teammates since season 3 going to go door to door here in this battle for the 7th position. Meanwhile, up front, Miranda and Halterman have caught Daniel Nanny, and it is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Mario Miranda, Daniel Nanny, if you remember back to Bristol last week, fought an absolute war against each other the entire second half of that race at Bristol to determine a winner. Nanny just barely got by with 20 laps to go and was able to hold on for the win. Does Halterman have a way to repay the favor here? These guys have been ferocious against one another the past couple weeks.
And I mean, they've been 2 of the fastest guys really this back half of this season. And you know, it's not going to end now. It looks like Oklahoma Ball State is back and better than ever. As you see now, a name we haven't really talked about here today, Edward Sanchez battling Clint Halterman for that 3rd position. And along with that, Zach DeWale on the inside of Jake Cummings, as Sanchez is able to pull through and get to that podium position.
You got to imagine, at least on a very small level, that must have been a very satisfying pass for Edward Sanchez, the driver who just missed out by a couple of points on the championship 4 because he lost out to Clint Halterman, finishing 4-5 for those 2 drivers. So Sanchez now running P3, still looking for that first win, is putting himself in prime position to try and go out and play spoiler tonight. Tracking down Nanny and Miranda right now. Meanwhile, Cummings and Stockner, a good battle here forming for 6th. 3/4 of the championship 4 running inside the top 6 right now. And don't look now, but Jared Kaler up another 4 spots to 12th. He is on the move toward the front.
I mean, with these guys battling like they are right now, it's going to, you know, make everyone catch up to this lead pack. You can barely see Kaler's tagging on to the end of this pack, but he's also just in it like the rest of these guys. He has a lot of track to make up. Oh, as you see, DeWale gets loose, and Cummings, I think, also got loose coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, and that almost ended really poorly for the both of them. But racing will continue here. Now we are at the halfway point of this one. Daniel Nanny going to lead him to the line. Miranda and Sanchez door-to-door here for 2nd. Sanchez not content with that. He's going to look for the lead here in 1 and 2.
Sanchez, we saw him battle all year long. Everywhere we've went, it seems like we said his name once or twice while we're battling for the lead or setting, you know, the top 5. And right now, he's doing it again. Back up there in the podium position, trying to battle Mario Miranda for that 2nd position, allowing these championship 4 guys.
Yeah, and they're all in the top 5. I mean, they are engulfing the 26 right now. He's got Miranda ahead of him, Cummings and Halterman behind him. This is an interesting position to be in if you're the Baruch College driver, because you want to go out there, you want to race hard, you want to race for the win. You also don't want to be the one to make a mistake and potentially cost one of the championship 4 a shot at the title. So you got to kind of balance the aggressiveness with the desire to not be the one to end somebody's season. But right now, he is in the thick of it. As you see Halterman and Cummings side by side behind him, Miranda just ahead of him trying to track down Daniel Ney. Look at the action we've got in the top 10 here as Whale and Stockner bouncing off each other in 1 and 2.
I mean, Cummings is... You saw these two, Clint and Cummings, were trying to make it 3 wide inside of Edward Sanchez. And, I mean, they are using all the aggression right now to get in front of one another, try and get to Mario Miranda. But you see some 3 wide action. Alif, Stockner, Whale banging doors through the tri-oval going into 1. Still 3 wide.
They are not giving each other any room. Look at how tight it is. They're running 2 lanes on the track, and they're barely keeping it sorted. Wow, that was phenomenal through 1 and 2. That's a miracle that they got through that unscathed. DeWale going to bail out now. Stockner and Alif still battling door to door. A little more contact there in 3 and 4. Man, what a war these two are fighting right now on lap 71.
I think Stockner really is making the drivers know that he needs to stay. He's really pushing them down as you see still door to door going through 1 and 2.
You can just tell that both of these drivers getting more and more heated under the helmet as they continue to do battle here. Muhammad Alif locked in. And you see Stockner roll on by, and that's because Jake Cummings all sorts of loose. Oh, and Cummings is around. Jake Cummings spinning through the front stretch. And he's going to get this car pointed the right direction. I don't think he hit any walls, but he definitely got bounced around by a car or two, I believe. And that will bring out the caution here on lap 72. That was, that battle between Stockner and Alif was fantastic stuff. And it only got broken up because of what happened just in front of the 12.
Take a look back here at the replay. You can see that battle happening right there. Drew Williams in front of... Oh, and Alif just starts hitting on Jake Cummings and never gets off his back bumper. Throws him into the whale. And into the... Oh, hard into the outside wall.
I thought he had kept it off the wall. I was sorely mistaken. That is some heavy rear end damage to the 95. That is definitely going to need some repairs.
That's definitely going to affect the aero of that backside. I mean, that car might act a little more loose coming out of these corners. It's going to probably be a little unstable for him and his battle for the championship here with 60 to go in the race.
Well, while we've got a second, folks, we are going to step away to a quick commercial break. We will be right back with the second half of the Championship 200 presented by the Garage Shop.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. Compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
All right, folks, welcome back. The Championship 200, presented by the Garage Shop, live here on the CIL YouTube. The final race of the Garage Shop College Cup Series season. A champion gets decided here tonight between the 4 drivers of Jared Kaler, Mario Miranda, Jake Cummings, and Clint Halterman. Under caution for, I believe, the 6th time today, after Jake Cummings went into the outside wall after contact with Muhammad Alif. Cummings still on the lead lap, although with definitely a bit of damage that needs to get repaired. He'll find himself at the tail end of the field. 3 cars elected to not come down pit road last time by. That was the 124 of Nick Stockner, the 076 of Matt Nordberg, and the 58 of Jared Kaler. So the UNC Charlotte driver, technically the leader of the Championship 4 right now, but on those older tires, it is going to be a tall order to try and hold off Mario Miranda and Clint Halterman directly behind him. As the field will get stacked up 2 by 2 here. Green flags back in the air.
Stockner doesn't get that great of a start, as you see Nordberg's able to hang on, going into turn 1 side by side, the entire field basically.
It was messy deeper in the field, but up front, it is anybody's bet who's going to lead this lap. 3 wide for second. Daniel Nanny forcing his way on through between Nordberg and Kaler. They'll close off the 076. Stockner will lead the lap, but he has got some cars breathing down his neck. Here goes Nanny looking to the inside. Stockner, a little bit of contact, not giving him any room. Nanny gives it right back. Gloves are off between these 2 guys as Miranda makes a sweeping move to find his way around Kaler.
Right now, Stockner is not liking Ball State at all. It seems like every time he's beside him, they're door to door. They're still door to door. Come out for him. Door contact.
Oh, and here comes a run from Edward Sanchez.
4 wide.
4 wide for the lead. Miranda. Oh, wait, they save it. Oh, my God, they saved that. That was about to be catastrophe. And somehow, Mario Miranda has taken the lead.
I have no words.
That everyone should be thanking, whoever you want. That should have ended so much worse. It's a full-on miracle that didn't end up in complete catastrophe. But somehow we stay green. Mario Miranda, Daniel Nanny at the front of the field. Sanchez got shuffled back to 10th. Stockner back to 14th. Boy, that was... I don't even know what I just witnessed. But now Miranda leads over Nanny. Halterman runs 3rd. Kaler's trying to hold on to the 7th spot right now, and Jake Cummings rallies himself back up into the top 20.
I mean, that was a lot to take in there. It looks like now Daniel Nanny, well, Esteban Munoz is to the outside of Clint Halterman. Munoz, we haven't really talked about up at the front today, but now he's mounting a charge and trying to get up to now second position as he's able to clear Clint Halterman. And that FIU machine is now on its way to these top two.
It has been a long time since FIU has gone to victory lane. You have to go back to Talladega season 6, I believe, when Esteban Munoz won that one in a thriller over Jared Kaler and myself. It has been a long time here for Munoz to try and find his way back to victory lane, but putting himself in a really good spot right now, running just behind two of the fastest cars all season. And he is looking like he might be a tad bit quicker than him right now. It's just a matter of finding his way around him.
And right now, I mean, he's keeping up with them just on the outside now with Daniel Nanny. Nanny hits the apron a little bit, a little loose, gives the advantage to Esteban Munoz, who's now going to take the momentum and get up to second position, eyeing up that lead from Mario Miranda.
A very spirited drive here from Munoz. Clears the 30 of Nanny. Now looks to try and find his way around Miranda.
Whoa.
Whoa, look at this deeper in the field, though. It is a mess in the mid-pack. Kaler, Sanchez, Vighton, DeWale, 4 wide. Everyone bouncing off each other. Kaler got shuffled out in a big way on those older tires. I think he just lost about 8 spots in one corner.
And many more. I mean, that was unfortunate for him. That risk he took staying out, try to get some track position, is fallen out of the top. Well, now to the 19th position.
We'll take a look here. Vighton and Alif door-to-door for 10th. Roger Primo having himself a pretty good run here tonight as well. He's currently running inside the top 12. Joseph Grijalva right on his back bumper as well.
Now on the inside of Primo. Looking to the inside now, Vighton as well, as we're riding on board with the 17 of Joseph Grijalva from Purdue. You can see the little heart rate monitor as well, seeing that if he can keep his nerves down around some of these guys in these battles. As you see, he's now eyeing up the inside of Garrett Vighton from ASU.
Oh, almost a little bit of contact there. Nice little save.
Somehow the heart rate went to 0.
Oh, that freaked me out for a second. I'm not gonna lie. About to say, is this man okay? Luckily, he seems to be. But you can see even sim racing gets that heart rate elevated, folks. That's how much it means to all these guys. 145 right now, virtually behind the wheel. That is how much this feels, especially in VR, really adds a whole nother layer to it. But I think I'd be remiss to say, folks, Esteban Munoz not only has cleared Mario Miranda, he is pulling away from him a little bit. There is the FIU machine. He has gotten around the 89. And out of seemingly nowhere, the driver starting 20th today has put himself into the lead. A great run right now for the Panther Esports car.
I mean, Mario and Esteban started 20th and 21st, so these two started together and now are right now racing together up here at the front. And you can see we have FIU, which we haven't seen a lot this season, leading the pack, and Oklahoma and Ball State we've seen a lot this season trying to catch up.
So FIU trying to hold off this side-by-side battle between Miranda and Alif. Boy, it is a tight one up there at the front right now. Looks like Nanny, a little slide there, will take that spot away from Miranda. Mario Miranda for Oklahoma still leads the championship battle right now. He's 1 spot clear of Clint Halterman, although you know he'd love to try and win the race as well. As now Nanny looks to the inside of Munoz. The 30 spent a few laps trying to conserve some tire. Now back on the attack. As a look to the inside here of the Panther machine. Door to door, Munoz and Nanny, more contact between the two. The 9 went down, the 30 went up. They met in the middle, and it was almost bad for them both. But we remain door to door here. Little bit more contact, gentle nudge going into turn 1. Miranda laying in wait just behind him as Munoz got a little bit loose there off of 2. He'll have to concede the spot.
And you can see back behind there, Mario Miranda and Clint Halterman now battling out for not only the third position, but also the lead in the championship points. ZC Clint gets a little loose coming out of 4, and now Mario's using his momentum to take the second position away from Esteban Munoz, and now Clint is going to try and follow suit on the inside into turn 1, diving it in there.
Clint Halterman has only one top 5 this season. By his own words, the fact that he made the championship 4 was a bit of a surprise, but he was going to do everything in his power to try and bring home a championship to capitalize on the opportunity that was presented to him. Currently running in this battle for third. He's having himself a great day, maybe one of his best days all season. He would need it to be just a little bit more, though, if he's going to find a way around the Oklahoma driver of Mario Miranda. Miranda trying to cap off what has been a phenomenal season for Oklahoma to bring home their first championship in the CIL.
Mario's doing exactly that. I mean, like last week, we saw Daniel Nanny, Mario Miranda duking it out, or not last week, but last race at Bristol. We saw those two duking it out, but now Clint Halterman's trying to say something about it as he gets up to the back bumper of Mario Miranda.
So this lead group of 6 cars have kind of settled in just a hair. Looks like Miranda got a little loose through 3 and 4. Oh, a little bit of a slide. Could open the door for the UNC Charlotte car. Halterman going to look to the inside. Less than 40 laps to go in Season 11 of the Garage Shop College Cup Series. Anyone's bet who's going to take home this championship as Miranda and Halterman door-to-door down the back straightaway.
Clint's using that inside line that he loves to use so much during this race. And right now, while this battle's going on, I mean, these two are side by side. Daniel Nanny's slowly pulling away, trying to, make it as much as he can here. Try to build a gap and try to get away from the rest of this little group. As you see, Mario and Clint not letting each other go side by side for the championship.
Halterman trying to keep a nose glued to the inside corner, just not enough down the back straightaway that time to stay alongside him. He'll have to drop back to third. So as they run, these are the 2 cars in the hunt for the championship right now. Jake Cummings has been trying to rally back from that damage. Currently scored in the 16th position. He made some headway on the restart, but has kind of stalled out a little bit since. And Jared Kaler, who tried the alternate strategy in the pits, stayed out on the old tires, has fallen down to 20th. He has put himself in quite the hole here on lap 97. Halterman and Miranda, the 2 cars in the prime position right now. Miranda going to run that middle line. Halterman goes down toward the apron. As they make their way back down the straightaway, the gap to Daniel Nanny has opened up to about 0.4 of a second. Nanny, winner of the past several races here in the Garage Shop College Cup Series, trying to close this one out to make it 3 straight points-paying races for him in Ball State. Actually, 4 straight for Ball State points-paying race-wise. The Leaf won the cutoff race in the round of 12. But it would be 3 straight for Nanny if he finds his way back to victory lane here. But all eyes are on this battle for second. Halterman, Miranda, duking it out not only for the second step of the podium, but for what could be either of their first championships in the CIL.
And not only the first for Clint, but I mean, Jared Kaler's brought a lot of championships home for UNC Charlotte, but now Clint has an opportunity to add his name to that list for UNC Charlotte. But first, he has to get around Oklahoma's Mario Miranda, who's looking for their first championship. So, I mean, a lot of firsts, but a lot on the line as well for these 2 drivers.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, I mean, it has been a phenomenal season for Oklahoma. They have built to this moment over the past couple years, adding drivers in, running more races, running full-time slates, and then this year it's all come together. They won the opening, 5 races of the year between Miranda and John Hagan. haven't been back to victory lane since, but having won the opening 5, it was a perfect start for him and trying to cap it off in the most beautiful of ways for OU. If Brenda can get the job done here tonight. But to that point, Clint Halterman trying to prevent him from doing that. He stays within half a car length of the 89. As the laps continue to tick away here, just over 30 to go from this race at Las Vegas. Nanny leads by a quarter second over Miranda and Halterman. Drew Williams, Brandon Schulenberger, your top 5 as they run right now. And we're getting to a point for those cars who stayed out, you know, Matt Nordberg, Nick Stockner, Jared Kaler, might be sooner rather than later thinking about coming down pit road under green. Would not be ideal with the amount of cautions we've had, but you know, if you're going to have to put on new tires, you want to try and maximize the amount of positions you could gain doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, I believe you can see on your screen here on the timing table, the last pit stop by everyone here is on lap 74. So according to the pre-race analysis, this is going to be a little tight coming to the finish here for gas. I honestly, yeah, like you said, Spencer, I mean, like a lot of these guys who didn't stop this last stop are going to have to go in no matter what. But these guys in the front here, as you see Clint Halterman diving it into the inside of Mario Miranda yet again, these guys are going to have to try and string it out a little bit if they want to make it a one stop.
That they are. I'm also just hearing that a couple of cars are starting to make their stops now deeper in the field, but that was the onboard it will be the onboard between Clint Halterman and Mario Miranda as they are door-to-door once again down the front straightaway. UNC Charlotte, Oklahoma, there they are. Oklahoma on the top side of your screen and the left-hand window. There's Miranda on the right side of the screen. On the inside of the track, that is Clint Halterman for UNC Charlotte. Both of these drivers looking for their first ever CIL championship. Halterman looking for his first win of the season. Miranda looking for his first, I want to say, since the month of September, or maybe early October. It has been a long time for Miranda as well, even though he's won twice this year.
Yeah, it's been a little bit since Oklahoma made it back to victory lane, but nonetheless, Miranda's always been up towards the front, and right now he's sitting pretty right behind Daniel Nanny, and you can see both of these drivers right now locked in, concentrated on the task at hand, trying to make sure one another doesn't get in front of each other. So obviously, that's for the championship.
Yeah, and right now, it is a matter of you just can't make a misstep. With how close they're running to one another, if you were to make one mistake, the other driver would almost certainly capitalize. And then you would be fighting a massively uphill battle with not a whole lot of time left. Next time by, I believe it'll be 26 laps to go here from Las Vegas. Daniel Nanny holds on, still only a quarter-second lead. He has not really been able to break away from either of Miranda or Halterman, and has kind of left these top 3 cars all in a pile. As now Halterman again going to try and drive it really deep to the inside. What a dive in, and he takes that spot away. Over-under attempt here from Miranda, going to try and take it back, but boy, was that an aggressive dive to the inside for the UNC Charlotte driver.
Yeah, I think Miranda might have washed up a little bit. Miranda's loose coming out of 4. Going to keep the momentum up enough to be side by side. As you see now, Clint is able to clear Miranda. Miranda's going to send it back into the inside, though, try to use the same strategy as Clint has been using like the last 10 laps. And also, Brandon Schoenberger now passes Drew Williams for the 4th position, also tagged into this little group.
So Halterman now going to run that middle lane. It's Miranda down on the inside. Roles reversed here between UNC Charlotte and Oklahoma. Halterman continues to have a nose ahead. He has not been able to clear the 89 of Miranda yet. It's let Brandon Schulenberger get right into the mix here. He is breathing down the necks of both of these drivers trying to find his way on by. If memory serves me right, he finished on the podium in the season finale last year as well. When Jake Cummings won, it was a Wingate 1-2 or 1-3, I believe. So he's trying to play final race spoiler once again, if he can get around either of these two guys. But this is the battle for the championship right now. with under 25 to go. It's Halterman and Miranda still door-to-door, neither one able to separate.
And as all this is going on, you see Miranda edges out a little bit now, but Schollenberger's going to push Clint Halterman past Mario.
That was a big-time shove from the 7. And some would say, oh, why did he pick one over the other? I guarantee you that was fully in self-interest because the 7 has been running the top side to great effect. You see he gets around the 89 there, and I think he's going to try and do the same thing on the back straightaway to the 077 if he can help it. You see Schollenberger already trying to creep up, trying to look to the outside there. That Wingate machine's got some pace tonight, too.
Yeah, it's coming on late right now, which, I mean, you want to be there when it counts at the end of the race. And that's what Schollenberger's doing right now. Wingate is creeping on the door of the second position. Already got a podium position, but now is using that momentum outside of Clint Halterman. Halterman prefers that inside line, but Schollenberger prefers the outside, so we're going to see who wins here. Mario is also going to try and follow behind with Brandon. Brandon to the outside of Clint Halterman, door to door, going to use that momentum to get the second position, and Clint chops the nose of Mario Miranda. Miranda sends it into the inside going into 3.
Gloves are off, 20 laps to go. This time by Miranda and Halterman. Still a little bit of contact into the outside wall. I believe that was a little bit of net code that sent the 077 up, but it doesn't matter because that will be a bit of damage for Halterman, and you're going to be sure he's not too happy about that. Miranda takes the spot away. Here comes Halterman right back to the inside. They just continue to trade spots with one another. Schollenberger goes on by. He'll look to try and track down Daniel Nanny, but the championship battle still as fierce as ever, 20 laps to go.
I mean, I'm surprised on these older tires that Clint was able to pull off such a move there going in the 2. But it looks like Miranda's going to use the momentum out of 4, pull ahead a little bit. But here we go, yet again, on board with Mario Miranda on your left, Clint Halterman on the right. You can see Halterman slides up a little bit coming out of 2, and they're door-to-door coming down the backstretch.
This war has gone on for the better part of the last 25, 30 laps. It has really ceased the break in that entire period of time. Really wheeling that thing off of 4 was Miranda. Got a little bit loose. Halterman trying to track him down, though, but this is about as far back as he's been from the 89. Since this battle started, you can call the gap about 2.5 car lengths as they make their way off of turn number 2. Meanwhile, Brandon Schollenberger knocking on the door of Daniel Nanny. We might have ourselves a battle for the race win still. Daniel Nanny trying to make it 3 points, playing races in a row. Schollenberger looking for his first ever win.
He's using that long stint to really get to the back bumper here of Nanny. And I mean, he's been doing it impressively. He's been very fast compared to everyone else. He's been saving that tire, conserving it. And you can see coming out of 2, he's sucking right up to the back bumper of Daniel Nanny. And he's going to look to the inside going into 3.
Schollenberger going to stick a nose to the inside.
Oh!
Bit of contact with Nanny. Every time there's been a battle for the lead, there has definitely been a little bit of fisticuffs. Here comes Miranda, going to try and make it 3 wide. As they go in the 1, Miranda, a big move to the inside, takes the spot away from them both. Oklahoma retakes the lead here with 15 laps to go, but the battle's not over yet. To Schollenberger and Nanny, going to be right on his back bumper. More contact between the 2.
I mean, what a move by Mario. He took the opportunity when he saw it on the trioval, and now Clint's going to have to try and get past both of these guys if he wants any shot at the title. As you see, he's able to get past Daniel Nanny right now, and Brandon Schollenberger is getting under attack. He's on the outside of Clint Halterman. Halterman gets a nose out in front, but Schollenberger's going to use that momentum.
Halterman tried doing what Miranda did a lap prior. It helped him get around the 30. He still trails the 7 of Brandon Schollenberger. Schollenberger not looking to try and play nice up here either. He's looking for his first ever victory if he can help it. Miranda, though, that move to the apron to pass the first and second place car, if it holds on, could be the move that wins him a championship. However, the battle is far from finished as Schollenberger now going to look back to the inside, trying to take the lead away.
Schollenberger is clear of Miranda. As you see, he takes the lead away, and now Clint and Miranda are back together again.
Here we go. The battle for the championship on once again. Miranda and Halterman separated by a car length. Daniel Nanny trying to get back into the picture as well. He's led most of this race, but the speed seems to be falling off just a little bit here for the 30 in the closing couple laps. Schulenberger continues to pull away from Miranda. This could be a crowning moment for Brandon Schulenberger. Could be his first ever CIL victory to try and play spoiler here tonight at Vegas. However, the championship battle is very much still in question. Miranda runs second, Halterman runs third. The other two championship 4 drivers, Cummings runs 10th, Kaler runs 15th. Both of them making some headway, but it is going to be way too little too late for them at the rate we're going. It is all eyes on Mario Miranda and Clint Halterman.
Right now, I mean, Clint is slowly falling away from Mario Miranda. Miranda's using Brandon Schulenberger's draft to try and pull away from the 077.
Halterman is trying to hold on the end of the draft line there from Miranda, but now he is under attack once again from Daniel Nanny. The Ball State machine looks to the inside. Halterman closes the door. 10 laps to go here in the Championship 200. 10 laps to go in the season. And 10 laps separates Mario Miranda from a first ever CIL championship if he can hold off Clint Halterman. He currently sits about 2 car lengths behind Brandon Schulenberger and about 4 car lengths clear of the 077.
And that gap just continues to widen as I think Clint had a little bit of a bad exit coming out of 4. The gap is now over a second between the 2 championship leaders.
And the gap continues to open. Halterman, it has been a valiant fight, but that may have been all that was left in the tank for the UNC Charlotte machine. A second adrift now of Oklahoma and Wingate.
Oh. Some
the battle
lap
for
traffic.
the lead, though, is definitely not over as you see Schulenberger and Miranda trying to battle it out for the race win. How ambitious will the 89 be, though, knowing that he would still be crowned champion if he finishes second?
I did not think lap traffic would come into play here, but it has been a very long green flag run. So you can see the top 2 were able to get past him pretty easily. And we're going to see if Clint Halterman has anything left in the tank. I mean, it's pretty hard to get back to Mario Miranda at this point. You got 7 laps to go, about a second and a half to catch up.
Mario Miranda ran a couple of races back in Season 9. Did not fare particularly well in any of them. 1 top 10 and 3 starts, including 2 DNFs. Actually, 1 DNF, 1 DNQ. But came back here in Season 11, revitalized. Won 2 of the opening 3 races of the season. And has done what he's needed to do to keep himself in position, including a top 5 at Phoenix and a runner-up finish at Bristol in the round of 8. As cars are bouncing off each other deeper in the field. I don't know if you caught that. There is more more chaos happening deeper in the field there. Everything stays green, though, and that the last thing Mario Miranda wants to see right now is a caution. The only thing Halterman, Cummings, or Kaler would want to see right now is the yellow flag. However, the laps ticking away, only 5 to go. Schulenberger continues to lead out front.
Oh, Jason Walled around in the trial right now. It's not a caution. He's out of the racing line.
Wallet trying to get back on track here, back at speed. The yellow flag stays tucked away for now. Everyone just held their breath there big time.
I definitely know Mario was Not happy at all. I can tell you that. He probably saw that slow car in the trioval and was thinking the worst.
Yeah, I think he just stopped breathing there for a second.
His heart
However,
rate
this
monitor went to
time
0.
by, it'll be 3 laps to go. Brandon Schulenberger on the cusp of his first ever CIL victory. It has been a phenomenal day for the driver of the 7. And now he might be rewarded for it in a big way.
I mean, it kept us entertained till the end. I mean, these Championship 4, even though there was calamity for really all 4 of them all day, Mario Miranda and Clint Halterman stuck together pretty much the entirety of this run and has made it such a great battle for this championship.
It has been a handful, 5 or 6 top 5 finishes for Brandon Schulenberger in his career without a victory. He leads by 0.2 of a second, trying to pick up the first victory of his CIL career in the last race of season 11. And the driver just behind him looking for his first championship. White flag in the air, presented by the McConey Setup Shop. Your home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, and more. Schulenberger going to try and hold off Miranda one more time through 1 and 2. Coming off the corner. They will continue the run nose to tail. Miranda, if he wants to win the race, will have one more chance out of here through 3 and 4. But it's not going to be enough this time by. Schulenberger going to win his first ever CIL race. And Mario Miranda is going to be crowned the Season 11 Garage Shop College Cup Series champion. After a phenomenal battle with Clint Halterman in that final stage, it is the Oklahoma Sooners and Mario Miranda getting it done for OU Esports. What a night for the Sooners, bookending what has been a phenomenal season for the OU side.
They made history at the beginning of the season, winning the first 5, and now they got their first ever CIL championship here in Las Vegas.
And he is going to burn it down here on the front stretch. Clint Halterman will finish 3 seconds off of Mario Miranda, but 3rd place to round out the podium in a phenomenal effort, his best result of the season. Jake Cummings, despite the damage, would rally back to 9th. And Jared Kaler was off cycle, but finishes the last car in the lead lap in 14th. And Brandon Schulenberger gonna burn it down for Wingate, their first win since a season ago in the finale when Jake Cummings delivered him the W. And Schulenberger with his first win, gonna get the job done, burn it down as well.
A little fun by the Clemson teammates also burning it down here in Vegas.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, folks. When we come back, interviews with the newly crowned champion, the podium finishers. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a iRace or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. Compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.
Well, folks, we are back. The Championship 200, presented by the Garage Shop, has concluded. Season 11 has just hit the checkered flag for the year. And it's time to take a quick look at our results before we talk to our champions. Brandon Schulenberger wins the race, but Mario Morenda will win the championship for the University of Oklahoma. Clint Halterman will finish third, runner-up in the championship hunt. Will get the alumni win as a small consolation, but will come up just short of winning his first ever championship. Daniel Nanny finishes fourth tonight for Ball State. Drew Williams fifth for Clemson. Zach DeWale sixth for St. Clair College. Ball State's R. Muhammad Alif in seventh. Edward Sanchez finishes eighth, with championship floor driver Jake Cummings finishing in ninth, trying to nurse home that damaged race car. And Andrew Stagey rounds up the top 10 in his final run as a student.
Garrett Vighton from Arizona State University finishes 11th, and Andrew Burrow from Clemson finishes 12th. Bryce Kobler in the 5 machine from Emory and Henry finishes 13th. And your last of your championship 4 contenders, Jared Kaler, finishes in 14th from UNC Charlotte. Esteban Munoz, who we saw was fast in that green flag run, ends up 15th from FIU. Lucas Moody from Ball State ends up 16th. Alex Finnerty from UNC Charlotte finishes 17th. Lee Kane from University of Southern Mississippi ends in 18th. Roger Primo from Paul Smith's College finishes 19th. And rounding out your top 20, Matthew Nordberg from North Carolina State University.
And then rounding out the field tonight, Nicholas Stockner finishing 21st tonight. Jason Wallet, 22nd. Nathaniel Crone, 23rd. Spencer Brown, Joseph Grijalva, 24th and 25th. The rest of these cars went out early with damage. Ryan Whitlock, Kelton Quick, Edwin Onofre, and Landon Belicky did not take the green flag. And with that, it's going to take us down to Victory Lane, where we will not be talking to the race winner just yet. We'll talk to him in just a moment. But first, the championship winner tonight. Joining us in the booth now from Oklahoma, the driver of the 89, runner-up tonight, but the highest finishing of the championship for Mario Miranda, we'll have to add the new moniker of Series Champion to your title. Welcome to the booth.
Yeah, it feels good. I like having that title. It's a lot of my friends who have been racing for a while know I haven't won like a series championship in a while. I've been in a lot of Final Fours, a lot of final races, and always come up short. So it's like nice after like 2 years to finally cap it off.
So talk to us a little bit about your race here tonight. Started kind of in the back of the field, had to work your way to the front. The moment you got to the front, ended up all the way in the back of the field, had to get yourself all the way back up there again, and then had an absolute duel with Clint Halterman in the closing laps there before you were able to break away with just a couple laps to go.
Yeah, qualifying was really poor. I couldn't seem to get 1 and 2 down in practice. Messed it up again in qualifying. Starting back at the field, which is kind of frightening. That's like kind of like the devil's cage. It's kind of hard. You don't know what's gonna happen. But I was confident in my race pace to get up front. I felt really good on the bottom in 3 and 4, and I was able to make some passes down there and slowly made my way up. And I felt really bad for making contact with Jake. I already talked with him, but I still feel bad about what happened with his spin and had to go to the back again. And then those final 30 laps with Clint, man, that was fun. That was great. It was me, Clint, and then you toss in Nanny and Brandon. And I don't know what was going on. It was tunnel vision. I was just driving, and soon enough, I was the white flag, and I had 2 seconds on Clint, and all I could see was the checkered.
Yeah, so let me ask it. Did it sink in at any point before the checkered what position you were in, or did you only realize it coming to the line?
My spotter, who's been a friend of mine for 4 years now, he was really good tonight, and he kept me calm, and he was like, "You don't need to race Brandon. You're pulling on Clint. That's all you need to worry about." And so when I crossed the white flag, he's like, "You just need to finish. It's official. You have no pressure behind. You're going to be a champion if you come back around clean." So I had the idea in my mind that I was in second and first in the championship, and then I was coming around turn 3 and 4 and got a run on Brandon surprisingly, and I was like, oh, maybe I can get a win with this too. But Brandon ran a really good race, so I'm glad he was able to finish in first.
Ultimately, even though it is the runner-up spot, I can't imagine you're going to be too broken up about it, given the greater implications of things. Mario, truly congrats on a phenomenal season, not just for you, but for OU Esports as a whole. I mean, 6 wins on the year, the front 5, and then the last one. Just talk to us a little bit real quick about the whole team effort here and putting together one of the more impressive seasons we've seen in recent years as a program.
Yeah, I have a lot of love for OU. We started the program before I even got to OU. Got really eager out of high school and try to try to start something by myself, but they had open arms for me, brought me in, and my freshman year I was by myself. Sophomore year we brought in one more driver, and now I'm in my junior year, and we just added John, who was a great addition because man, I think he had 3 wins on the year and had 2 in a row. So it was really cool. It's nice being a part of a team that's all competitive, that we're all friends, we're all on the same page on what we want our final goal to be. So being a team effort has made it all collectively better and all because that freshman year, all the struggles I went through, you get kind of down on yourself. But having teammates my sophomore year and this year especially has really helped a lot. And as a whole, we've helped each other. I helped Sky, John helped Sky, and then we both collectively helped John. It's all a huge team effort.
Well, that team effort helped deliver the championship here tonight, at least getting you to this part so you can go out and do what you needed to do. Mario, congrats. Season 11 champion will be going down in the books. Anyone you'd like to shout out here tonight? Celebrate
Yeah,
the championship.
I just want to shout out all the coaches and other players at OU Esports that are watching tonight. I know Valorant, probably Rainbow Six, a lot of the other guys. Splatoon, we have honestly, you name a game and we got it. So I know a lot of those guys tuned in tonight. So thank you to those guys who watched. Thank you to my teammates who unfortunately weren't racing tonight. I know they were watching. Thank you to them, and then thank you to friends and family that are also watching tonight. I know my family's watching, and a couple family friends are also watching. And then shout out to the sponsors: McDonald's, Twisted Tech, Sooner Esports, Computer Connections. They all make this program run, and especially the racing program. Racing isn't cheap, and sim racing ain't much cheaper. So a lot of thank you to those guys. And special shout out to my little brother who's an Aggie. I know his military friends are watching, so sorry y'all couldn't beat Texas. We couldn't either, but I hope this win makes it better.
Alrighty. Well, Mario, thanks so much for joining us up here in the booth. Congrats on the run tonight. Congrats on the championship. Can't say enough. It's been a pleasure getting the chat with you this season, and looking forward potentially to seeing you try and run it back in season 12 in the spring.
Yeah, me too. Boomer.
All right, and that was runner-up finisher and new series champion Mario Miranda, the OU 89. Got it done tonight. But Brad is joining us now with the winner of the race, first-time winner, Brandon Schulenberger.
Here with Brandon Schulenberger. First off, congratulations, Brandon, on the historic win tonight. In your 56th start in the CIL, you made your way to the top spot of the podium. Tell us what emotions you're feeling right now.
Dude, I could not absolutely believe it. We were about 20 to 25 to go, and that's when me, Mario, and Clint were kind of like all duking it out with Nanny. And it felt like my heart rate was probably 200 beats per minute. So I told Edward, I was like, dude, you got to tell me to breathe, dude, or I'm not going to make it to the end of this race. And I finally got out front in front of the others, and I was like, I just need to settle down and run my race. And I thought I was almost kind of had it cleared, and then Mario had a little bit there at the end, but oh my gosh, that was a heck of a race. I was insanely stressed out. I was telling the Giga Chads, I was like, usually in most of the races this season, I usually have speed up front, something puts me in the back, and then I get tangled up in something and it's over from there. But I was like, tonight I kind of just hanged around because I was trying to do a lot of tire saving, and every time my tires would start to come to life, a caution came out, and then finally on that last run, we got the long run of the night, and I had mixed emotions because I was like, I was right there in the middle of Mario and Clinton. I was like, I don't I don't want to be part of the championship battle, but I was like, I feel like I have a car that can beat both of these guys, and eventually it worked out. But that was a stressful race, but I am just so glad that the first one is off my back because it was just so back and forth. I was at the point I was like, dude, do I even have a track where I can really get a win? I was like, I've got the podiums, I've got the speed, but I was like, I've never just had the fastest car, and it was just such a relief to get it tonight, regardless of even I'm not in the playoffs or whatever. It was just incredible.
And then, like you said, I mean, that going into that final stint, was your plan coming into Vegas to try and use the long run to your advantage? It seemed like you just were shot out of a cannon and got past everyone in the top 5 really within 20 laps or so.
Yeah, so when the All-Star race last week, I felt like I had some of the strongest long run speed, but me and Jake had gotten some netcode damage together and it hurt my straight line speed, so I ended up just getting out of contention. But I really had a lot of confidence going in tonight, and then when I heard that the setup had been changed, I honestly had lost a little bit of confidence. I wasn't sure what to expect, and I could saw each night, like I said, like in the long run, my car just kind of came to life, but the caution kept just not letting that happen. So I finally, on that last run, we got the long run, and Drew gave me a bit of a fight, and Esteban kind of let me go. And then I was like, I'm in this top 4, and I was like, I'm in it to win it, and it just my confidence kept growing and growing.
And then, capping off the season with a win. A lot of the time this season you've had speed, and I mean, a lot of unfortunate events have happened throughout the season. But can you tell us a little bit more about how this feels capping off the season with that win and the motivation it gives you towards season 12?
It's such a relief more than anything because I came into this season and I said this is the season I'm going to make the playoffs. I was like it's so due, and we were sitting in a perfect spot with 2 races left in the regular season, and I went through like a 4-race drought where I didn't finish a race, and I was like, what an absolute roller coaster of a season this has turned out to be. And then I knew that the mile and a halfs, probably a lot of people say this, but the mile and a halfs have always been my strength. And when I saw Vegas on the calendar, I was like, this is going to be one of my best shots. And this gives me a lot of confidence just getting that first win off my shoulders. And I think that gives me a lot of confidence going forward in the next season that it really is. I mean, playoffs or nothing next season, and hopefully we can start stacking some wins consistently. And hopefully it's not an every 50 plus starts thing.
Yeah, definitely won't be. Like you said, you broke the seal, and now let's keep that momentum going into season 12. But before we let you go here, Brandon, is there anyone you'd like to shout out?
Just shout out all of y'all for always making this happen. This is because y'all get to do this. I'm so pumped to get to go back and watch this broadcast, and I know Alex has been around since I started, so I know he's seen kind of how much I've grown, and it's just great to be able to finally get the win. Shout out to the girlfriend. She watches these. Shout out to my dad. Shout out to the Giga Chads for sure. Those guys are great, and they continue to motivate me throughout this entire season when it felt like it was just going in the entirely wrong direction.
Well, again, congratulations, Brandon. Finally getting the win here in Vegas. Go and celebrate tonight.
Absolutely.
And we'll catch you back here for season 12.
Thank you.
We're going to send it back up here to the booth with Alex with our third place finisher, Clint Halterman.
Hey there, Clint. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Well, no time like the finale to run what was arguably your most complete race of the year. Unfortunately, just comes up one spot short tonight. But I mean, talk to us about your night. You were up in the top 5 battling all night, and then you fought an absolute war with Miranda there in the closing laps.
Yeah, first off, I just want to congratulate Mario and Brandon. They had that's a long time coming for him, so it's cool to see him get that first win. And Mario had a really good season. But yeah, I honestly can't even really be mad. I think I've been joking for the last 2 weeks that I felt kind of Mickey Mouse to be in here. But yeah, I easily had my best race of the season. Probably one of my best races, honestly, ever. Mario's super fast, and just to be able to keep up with him and beating Nanny, who's also really fast. Those are not easy guys to beat at all. So just to compete with them is really cool. But yeah. I didn't really expect to even make it here. And I'm really glad the setup change, it really fit my driving style a lot more. I can't drive tight setups at all, and this one definitely built a bit loose. But yeah, that was really fun. I think I definitely was faster, I think than Mario at one point in that final run. I was like, I could see him and Nanny both chasing their cars, starting to get loose. And I don't know what that was, how many laps we had left, maybe 30 or 25 or something like that. And I think I just went a little too early to try and make the pass. So I think just all those laps I ran on the outside really just fried my right front. Even when Brandon gave me the push by and I got clear of both of them, I went back to the bottom. I just didn't have the grip anymore that I once did. And then Brandon got back to my outside, and Mario was behind him, and they were both able to get by me, and I was still kind of able to keep up. I can't quite remember what happened for them to get that gap on me. But yeah, I just didn't quite have the right front there at the end, just from pushing super hard there. But I'm really proud of the race I ran there. I had really good speed. I felt I got back today from seeing my parents during Thanksgiving and loading up the setup. So yeah, I don't even think I'm really bummed about not winning. Honestly, I'm pretty stoked that I even was able to get to second and battle with some really great drivers.
Yeah, certainly got to be a part of all the action up front. The only driver as well who didn't really have any issues tonight as far as getting back to the front. He kind of was able to hold on to that track position all night. Do you think not having to try and run the gauntlet back to front and like the rest of the championship 4 helped keep you in the hunt all night?
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of the antithesis of my season where I feel like I've always been caught up in something. But tonight I was actually able to miss everything. I think Jake, at one point on the first caution, Mario was missing a wreck, came across my nose, he went in the grass, and the next caution, Mario got into Jake and spun him out, and then I think there was another wreck I saw Jake spinning out. I was like, there was craziness going on all around me, but for once I actually didn't get involved. But yeah, definitely being up front and consistently running with the guys at the front, I think helped a lot. I think that's really been kind of my struggle for this whole season. As this is my first podium the whole season, is like I've kind of been something's happened where I'm just been mired back in like 10th or something like that, and not running with those guys at the front kind of makes it difficult to know what pace to run or how to run. But being up there around those guys, I think really helped me definitely keep me up there, and kind of know how much I could pace myself versus how much I needed to push.
Well, Clint, it has been also small consolation, I guess, but congrats on the alumni division win as well.
Yeah.
But I suppose at this point, just anyone you'd like to thank or shout out. It was a phenomenal drive for you, and almost capped off a bit of a Cinderella run here through the playoffs. But anyone you'd like to thank or shout out here this evening on the podium finish?
Yeah, want to shout out Jared, of course. He was really fast. Sucks he got involved in like 2 wrecks early on, and kind of just killed his race before he even really got started. But yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to all the Orange Wheel Racing guys. Got some help with Drew and Zach and when they were racing me. And then when I came up to lap Alex at one point, he got out of. I was super tight. He got out of the gas for me, so I could wash up the track on the exit. So yeah, shout out to them for the whole season. Yeah, I wish I could have pulled off the Cinderella story, but I'll take second in this scenario. And shout out to you guys for this whole season, and I'm looking forward to next season.
Well, we are looking forward to seeing you next season as well. Feels like it should be a long time from now, but something tells me it's probably only going to be like a month and a half or so before
Something
we're
like
firing
that.
the engines again, getting ready to rock and roll. So, Clint, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you up here in the booth when we've had the chance to talk to you this year. And looking forward to more opportunities to do so in the new year.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. That was Clint Halterman, 3rd place finisher here tonight. And that will bring us to the last 2 of our championship 4. First joining us will be Jake Cummings here for Converse University.
I'm down here with Jake, and Jake, it was a chaotic race to say the least for you. Can you take us through the craziness that happened tonight?
Yeah, it started pretty well. And then got ran over by Mario first, and then had my own little slight touch with someone, so fair enough. And then got ran over by a Leaf next. I don't know if I had some kind of magnet on my rear bumper or what. People just seem to race a lot more aggressively this race, even if they weren't playoff drivers. It was a bit different from what I've seen the past few races. I don't know if it was the setup or just the fact that they wanted to do as best they can on the last race of the season, but yeah, it was something, that's for sure. I felt like I had a really good shot. I know I was in the lead of all of us for a good while there early. In practice, I had a really hard time trying to figure out how to save that right rear. The setup change from last week in the All-Star race totally put me off. Yeah, I couldn't really figure it out until, well, I guess going back a little earlier when Mario spun me, I was like, I don't feel like I can take a set of tires here in case we have some more craziness, and I don't want to be caught without tires. So I was just set on those scuffs. They were like had an extra 4% wear on them from the get-go, so it was really difficult to do anything with them, and I fell back a bit there at the end of this stage, I think it was, and yeah, then I finally started learning how to save the tires correctly in that last green flag run. I was thinking, I have a feeling this is going to go green from here. and we all have enough fuel to make it to the end. So I was trying to save my tires some, and man, I just got raced so aggressively by some people, just like acting like there's no one else around them. Honestly, it was a bit surprising because I kind of, in recent years, people usually give a lot of leeway to the playoff drivers, but it didn't really seem to be the case tonight. But anyways, I mean, I felt like I did a really good job saving the tires. I was running faster laps than everyone in front of me, like all the way up to the leader at the last 20 or so. Once we had all gotten into a rhythm, so who knows what would have happened if I was up there and hadn't gotten screwed over all night. But uh, overall, the racing, people have raced me pretty clean all season, so I guess tonight was just the dud and a bit of an outlier. It just kind of sucks to have that in this race, and it's bittersweet. We didn't get last at least because Jared got honestly even more screwed than I did, so I can't complain too much. But my boy Brandon, he did win. He did win his first CIL race. I wish I could have been up there to see it a little better in person, but really happy for him. He definitely deserves it. He's had some really crappy luck this season to not even be in the playoffs. Yeah, he just needed a race like that to finally happen and go his way to get that result that he needed, and hopefully that's the confidence boost that he needs to hit the ground running next season. But yeah, I mean, it's been a really good season overall, so I guess for my first shot in the Final Four, I can't be too upset. It's just, it kind of, I don't know, like, Jared probably is going to tell you the same sort of thing, but if you lose the championship just because you didn't do a good enough job, and you were there and you had your chance, but you didn't execute properly, then fair enough. But it's like me and him just never really had a shot. Him even more so with his extra damage he had. But yeah, the fact that I was running faster than everyone in front of me the last 20 or so laps, I was like, well, this is just kind of sad because at the end of the day, you want to at least have fun if you're not going to win the championship. But I didn't really have a lot of fun this race, unfortunately. But it is what it is, and we had a good season, so we can look forward to hopefully having an even better one next semester.
Yeah, and then looking forward, I mean, into season 12, how are you and Converse, gonna try and build upon this season? You had a very great season, and I mean, even if it's building upon it or just something fun, what are the plans throughout this off season?
Yeah, it's actually really interesting that you asked that because we have been doing a lot of work in the background behind the scenes to try to make not only next semester but also next year when I should be there in person so much better. We might be getting a teammate here in the CIL in the spring. Not sure yet, but we might be. We've been working on that. We've been working on getting rigs and what all that would entail, the budget for that, trying to look for sponsors. Doors open, by the way. um, Not for you, but for anyone watching. So yeah, I've had a lot of personal ideas on how I can better prepare for these races. I've always wanted to practice more for them, but it's just really boring to do it by yourself. So if I can get a teammate, that might change how I prepare for these races. And otherwise, yeah, this was really just an introductory season, kind of introducing Converse Esports to what sim racing is all about. And we've had our highs and our lows. I was watching them react to everything going on, and they weren't too happy about me getting spun twice. I was honestly lucky I didn't have a crazy amount of damage that put me out of it like Jared did. But yeah, so they're really proud of me, and I really appreciate their gratitude and their praising. Like I said, we had a good season, but now we kind of know what to expect, and we can hit the ground even better next season, putting some of these plans I was talking about into place a little bit. And I don't know. Hopefully, we'll have a really good season 12. I feel like the first half of the season I had some bad luck, made some bad decisions and stuff, and that honestly made my place in like the student championship and the school championship so much worse than they could have been. So I mean, if I can put a whole season together like I have, and since I came back in Chicagoland, it could be really, really good. So I'm looking forward to season 12 for sure. So I'm glad that you asked that. But yeah, other than that, just got to keep doing our thing. We've been doing really well, so I'm sure we can do really well again next semester too.
Absolutely. It sounds like you got a full slate here for the off season and next year as well. But before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, of course, Converse Esports again. Oh, they actually just tagged me. What are they saying? They're probably watching this right now. Yeah, they're all talking about everything to do with the race, but definitely want to shout out them. They've been really, really great all season, and I'm about an hour from their campus, but I'm feeling all the love coming all the way from over there. So I can't imagine how cool it would be to do it in the center. To everyone to talk with me about it in person. I'll thank Brandon Schulenberger, Garrett Vighton, Edward Sanchez for us all being each other's wingmen over the course of the season, helping each other out when we can, and just being good support dudes. Once again, really, really happy for Brandon. He definitely deserved that. But yeah, thank you to you guys once again for putting on a heck of a season. It's been an interesting one for sure, but it's also been very fun overall. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. And hopefully we can have some more fun next season too.
Well, thanks again, Jake, for joining us up here in the booth. We'll see you next season, season 12, for hopefully another championship 4.
I hope so. Have a good night.
And that was your championship for third place finisher, Jake Cummings. And we'll send it back up to the booth with our fourth place finisher, Jared Kaler.
Opportunity to chat with one more person up here in the booth, folks, before we wrap it for the night. Joining us now, it is Jared Kaler from UNC Charlotte, 14th overall, P4 in the championship battle. And Jared, I suppose we'll just get right to the meat of it. It seemed like you spent most of the race trying to fight from behind when things fell apart kind of early on.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those cases where I kind of just got caught up in 2 incidences that weren't any of my fault. I was just an innocent bystander, and the race was kind of over on lap 20, and that I had all the damage fixed, but I mean there was still some speed lost in the car, and I knew it was kind of going to take a miracle for me to even have a shot at the championship. And I tried doing that with the strategy. It was lap like 70 or 75. There was a yellow flag, and I went in for fuel only, and try and save a set of tires in case we got a rash of cautions at the end. I could maybe put on a set and try making up ground that way. But that was kind of like a Hail Mary throw. But yeah, I hate it because I feel like I had a lot of speed in the car. I didn't qualify too well, but I mean practice speed was there, and I mean the first 20 laps were there. It was just kind of got ended pretty early on.
Yeah, and I'm sure definitely not how anyone wanted to see that go, especially I'm sure yourself. But I do have to ask you overall, in a return to full-time competition this season, picked up a win. I mean, top 5 just about every race there was to have this season. It was, as a whole, a pretty consistent year up front for you. How do you think once the initial sting of tonight wears off, how do you think you will look back at this season, having returned full-time this year?
Yeah, I mean, I knew coming into the night that I was proud of everything I've done this season. Like you said, it was returned to full time, and I didn't really have any expectations. I just wanted to make the Final Four. That was kind of the goal I set out for myself this season. So I did that, and like you said, I mean, I was super consistent with like every race, but I guess now two races weren't a top 10. I mean, that's just crazy, and then all the rest were top 5. So it's just a crazy consistent year, and I don't think I really had winning pace in a lot of the races, but I was able to take advantage of others' misfortunes and others' mistakes. And I mean, it was just like you said, it was crazy consistent. I don't think I've ever had a season this consistent before. So overall, I'm really happy with the performance I put out. Like you said, especially coming back coming back from the break and coming back into the full time. So yeah, I'm really happy with the pace throughout the whole year.
All right, we'll throw one quick bonus question at you. Will we be seeing you in season 12 in the spring?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on the fence. I was torn coming back into this season just with school and everything, and I'm wrapping up my master's. So I have one more semester left on a student as a student, and it's a toss up because I kind of got to crack down on my schoolwork, but at the same time, I mean, I do want to run one last season as a student. So it's up in the air right now. It's,
There is
yeah.
definitely some priorities that might need to clear first, but
I'd love to come back. I mean, it was a lot of fun this season. I had a lot of fun. Competition was way higher than what it was when I left. So I mean, it's nice to see the league have grown in that way. So I mean, I'm considering it. But nothing's for sure yet.
alrighty. Well, we do hope to see you, but obviously, if the academic work comes first, then by all means, the academic work should come first. You're paying a whole lot more if you're doing that than to be running here on Monday nights. But Jared, thanks so much for dropping by. It's been a pleasure having you back up here in the booth periodically this year. Before we let you go on the year, anyone you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out UNC Charlotte. Obviously, all that money is going to summer, right? But Orangeville Racing, everyone in there has been a lot of support. I joined them this season, and like I said, they've been a lot of help, especially on the tracks that I haven't been too quick on. Clint's been a lot of fun. I've been rooming with him this semester, and it's been a lot of fun having a competitor right next door to me. Got a couple guys on board this season, CWH Photography, Booth 34 Diecast, and 24 Degrees Motorsports Media. I hate I couldn't get them the championship and all that, but man, it was still a really fun season.
Alrighty, well, Jared, congrats on the season that it was. Obviously, a tough break here tonight, but looking forward to seeing you potentially rejoin us in the spring for another crack at it.
Thank you guys. Have a good one. Thank you guys for everything that you've done, putting the stream out for everyone as well.
Well, thank you. It's been a ton of fun doing that. Oh, well, he was about to start saying something, and I wanted him back to the interview room, so that will be a mystery for another day. Sorry about that, Jared. But as that kind of puts the final page turned here on season 11, Brad, before I ask you your final thoughts on it, I just want to say, coming into this season, I don't know. I don't think you really had much of any previous experience broadcasting, and the time between the Charlotte Clash and now, it's been such a joy being able to call these races with you. I feel like we've gotten on the same page a lot more now than when we first started, and your skills as a broadcaster have improved astronomically. So I just want to say congrats on that, if nothing else, because it's been cool to see that transition. Also want to give a shout out to producer Christian Hill. Behind the scenes here, I mean, this easily has been some of the most high quality streams I've ever had the privilege of being a part of. Each year, it just keeps building and building, and it's truly some phenomenal stuff we got to be a part of this year. So just want to congratulate and thank the both of you guys on being a part of this year. It's been a ton of fun. It's made my life real easy knowing that there's been good people to be here with. But as we close this chapter of the season, Brad, any final thoughts, not only from the race, but from the season as a whole?
I mean, first off, to be alongside such a great commentator as you, Alex, it's a pleasure and an honor to be alongside the CIL GOAT commentator. And like you said, Christian is phenomenal producer behind the scenes, and these streams would not be possible without either one of you. So thank you guys for letting me come in and letting me try and commentate my way through these races. I know sometimes it was a pain, but I got my stuff together eventually, and I know both of you have been down that road a time or two, and I'm so happy to be a part of this team. And not only this team, but the CIL this season had a lot of great racing. We saw today a lot of just phenomenal passes, a lot of great battles ongoing every single second. It seemed like nonstop action. And I mean, every race we went to this season seemed to have just a phenomenal amount of action, a lot of energy, so much to watch along the track. And I mean, even our producer Christian couldn't even keep up with all of the action going on. We couldn't keep going on with anything going on the track. And I mean, I'm at a loss for words, really. I don't think there's a single word that can really put this all together. But I think that the CIL has come a long way since its beginning. And, it's season 11. A lot more has been built on throughout all of these seasons, and I can't wait for season 12 to bring more energy and even more action, which I don't think is possible, but I a lot has caught me off guard this season.
Yeah, we've certainly got a flair of everything this year, but it was never dull, that's for sure. If nothing else, there was never a boring moment. It was always something. But, with this being the end of our season, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in, not just tonight, but throughout the season. Not possible without folks like you all tuning in and supporting the league. It's been a blast to bring these races to you, but there'll be more announcements in the coming weeks about Season 12, the schedule, the dates, what to expect, all that fun stuff coming up. But for everyone here at the CIL, for producer Christian Hill, co-commentator Brad Daniels, I've been Alex Gagnon saying thank you so much for joining us on this journey that was Season 11 of the Garage Shop College Cup Series. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's Championship 200. And until next season, have a good one.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello, my name's Aaron Brown from the Garage Shop in Denver, North Carolina. We're here at the famous Bonneville Speedway in Wendover, Utah. One of the most harshest environments on the planet to race in, and that's why we need the best tools Snap-on has to offer. What we use here to pump up the oil in our race engines to prime them is this Snap-on screw gun. With its variable speed and high torque, this allows us to spin our oil pumps up to 1,500 RPMs, creating 70 pounds of oil pressure, which helps us get everything settled in, nice and happy, and turn the hot oil through the engine. It's compact, lightweight, and able to fit in really tight spaces. Its 9-position clutch allows us to torque things, nuts, bolts, from 8-inch to 50-inch pounds. Small size and high performance helps us get into many places on a race car where normal tools can't. Under the dash and the engine compartment, we also use this to drill a lot of holes in very tight spots.